Francisco.
Oi.
Yo.
I need more CBD cream.
Why is that the first thing you say when you come into the meeting?
Dude, I haven't been able to walk.
Nah, me too, bro. My feet are hurting. I just went retailing for like 2 hours. I don't even know how I was
No, I
walking.
actually can't walk, bro.
Oh, dang.
Like, it's
Bro,
getting better.
bro said I need more CBD
Bro
cream.
said, me too. I went walking for 2 hours.
My feet are hurting, bro.
I believe it.
Like all day today, I was like dying. Like, no. Wait,
Did
bro.
you,
Poncho.
what was good?
So this meeting is like doing the work, but like, do you know what we're gonna go over this meeting?
No, bro. I just asked Tona if I could join.
Oh, oh,
Who is that?
that's my roommate.
I thought it was CY.
Now see why he's not here.
Okay, bet.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, it doesn't look like he did the audio, but he's gonna join any minute. Did you ask Tona what you guys are gonna go over?
No, that's what I'm confused about. I didn't even ask him, but I probably should have asked him. Now that I think
Yeah,
about it.
maybe.
Yeah, because I asked him. He just said we're gonna go over like doing the work, but I'm like, what do you mean? But that was a minute ago though. But I'm saying, what are we going over?
Did I tell this guy to join? Brian? He's kind of waiting. Let me know when y'all join.
Yeah, I texted him. But yeah, you can also let him know. Oh, he's also in the waiting room now.
I'm gonna put it right here.
I could let him in now. We could kind of just chop it up to him for a little bit, or what?
What's up?
I said he's in the waiting room now. Should I let him join?
Yeah. Let's talk to him. Just be chill. You know what time Tona's joining? No.
I don't know.
Never mind.
Hopefully soon.
Yeah.
But yeah. Wait, so like you actually can't walk then?
Dude.
Is it because like you scraped yourself or like you bent your ankle?
You didn't see when I left the game yesterday? I was straight limping.
Bro, it's
I was
limping.
limp. And then I'm like it's hella swollen today, so I've been limping around. What's up, Brian? How you doing?
Guys,
What's good, Ryan?
What's good, man?
doing good though. Just woke up not too long ago
No way.
from a nap.
A quick
Yeah,
nap?
Take a little nap.
No, I feel
yeah,
that.
have to, man.
You enjoy your weekend?
Be honest, yeah,
Nice, dude. Yeah, the family time, huh?
yeah. I celebrated with my mom, and then the next day ended up being my my cousin's birthday.
Oh,
So
combo, yeah.
it was like a combo, to be honest.
That's cool.
There you
Where
go.
were you guys at, though? It looked like a nice spot.
It's called Fleming's. It's in Pasadena.
Oh, okay.
Town.
Yeah, I know
Yeah,
I've
Fleming's.
heard of Fleming's before.
Yeah, that's fire, huh?
I'm not gonna lie. It's one of my favorite spots compared to like Ruth Chris, Mastro's, and other ones.
I've heard of Mastros before too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Okay.
usually Mastro's or Fleming's the go-to.
Yeah, okay. Me and Chris got into a little bit of soccer yesterday. I think we posted it.
Yeah, we're
Yeah, I
doing
think I
soccer.
seen. I was like, sheesh. Couple of you guys drove all the way where though? Where do you guys meet
So
up?
it's like the Google campus over here in Mountain View, and we just use one of their fields because they're just kind of open, so we sneak in.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're nice though. We're playing on turf. I got stepped on, that's why I'm a little injured, but I'll be ready for function. I hope so.
Uh, and Chris
Yeah.
stepped on you or what?
Nah,
I do.
Chris. If Chris stepped on me, it would have
been.
been the end of me, bro.
Nah, it would have been the reverse, bro. Poncho got me, bro. I would have knocked out, bro. Not getting up.
No, that's right though. No, I seen the way you guys had fun.
Nah,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, I've just been using the CBD cream, so I've been good.
Oh, they have that excess.
Yeah, dude.
It's
This
tough,
thing is
bro.
fire, bro.
Yeah.
It's been cause I've been using it instead of ice because it kind of cools it down.
Yeah.
So it's been good, and I've been feeling better already. It's been
Kind
putting
of,
on like
kind of for like
every three
it's kind of for
hours.
like the joints or what? To relieve pain?
It's mostly for like
Okay.
muscle swelling. Yeah. Let me see. Does it say anything? No, it just says on. Just use it on the body. But yeah, I mean, it's like any numbing. You have for like. I don't know. I usually use it for like recovery, like after like a leg day. Put it on
Yeah.
the.
Like a workout or something like that. Like, bro, I'm
Yeah,
for
put
sure
on
gonna
the.
use mine. Like, I forgot to bring mine, but now that Poncho reminded me, I also got mine. Mine's almost like brand new, but these things are tough,
Yeah.
bro. It's like a little thing, but
No, they have a QR code on that thing. What the hell?
yeah, the new one's got a QR code. Yeah,
Calling me. Yeah. I've been
you
running through
got the
this one.
old one. I got the new one.
I've been running through it though. They last you a while though.
I just
That's
got.
good.
I used to buy the samples, um, like the little ones, but
Yeah.
yeah, and then I ran out of those, and I just bought the big one. I like barely even used it. But nah, these definitely work though. Just I recommend like if let's say you do get it and try it, bro.
Yeah.
Don't put it on before the shower because I did that one time,
Yeah.
and then like the water like it feels like it's burning you because like the water's like a different
Yeah.
temperature than like it's like icy hot. And I'm like, bro, what the heck's like
Yeah.
what's up with this? But nah, it actually like does like really relax like your muscles and like whatever like
Yeah.
you got going on. Like if it's sore, like for surely my feet tonight I'm putting some on, bro, because bro
Oh
my feet
yeah.
are hurting from soccer, bro. And then I was just out right now for like 2 hours, bro. I was retailing with Chris. We were just kind of
Yeah.
going like door to door at like a little park too, just like around the neighborhood. It was alright. Didn't make like a lot of money today, but what I made like $40 and he made like 30 something in like 2 hours. Not that good, but I mean it's better than nothing, than not going out at all. So that's
That's
kind of
true.
how we see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah,
Uh,
Brian, you play any sports or anything? Or gym?
Recently, not to be honest. 'Cause I used to play basketball.
He's a
Eee.
hooper.
Hey, we should go. Hey, we should go ball up, bro. I know Chris got a basketball. Yo, Tona.
Good one day. Fuck it.
Yeah, I'm
Yeesh,
down,
man. What's
bro.
going on?
I'll let you
Try to
know when we
bring
go
back
ball,
in.
bro.
So, Tona.
I'm gonna have to drag you out. No, I'm playing.
Ah.
Hey, the first time I met Francisco, we were playing basketball.
Oh, that's right.
Hey, for real? I didn't even know that.
Yeah. We were connected by a mutual friend. And yeah, that's when it all started. But this guy was super different. I don't know if you know about Tona's story, Brian, but I would talk to him and like, he's a little bit younger and
Yeah.
he's like was a freshman at the time. And I'm like, oh yeah, what high school you went to? It's like a single word answer. It's like, oh, how was it? It was good. I'm like, oh yeah, what do you like doing? He's like, I don't know, basketball.
Um,
It's super quiet, man. Did not know how to
yeah.
talk or anything. But look at him now.
That was me, man. Look how far I
Yeah.
came. Am I up now or what?
He's doing all right.
I'm playing.
Am I up? Just
Let's go,
slightly.
Tona. Dude, this guy scored 3 goals yesterday. I
For
Oh, you should have seen
real?
it, Brian. Oh,
Nah. So
Brian,
foul,
he's
bro.
up.
He-
He's
You
up.
are a soccer player?
straight
He was
cherry
camping the
picker.
goal.
No,
He
he's
was camping
not.
the
He's
goal.
not. He's
yeah.
a cherry picker, bro. He's camping by my goal, bro. And then like I was too slow, bro. Like I was on the opposite side, bro. And I go
Yeah.
all the way to the left, bro. I'm about to block him, bro. This guy just slams it in, bro. I don't even know how. 3 times
Hey,
he does
Chris-
it, bro. I'm like, how?
Hey, Chris was mad, bro, because he was guarding me the whole time, man.
I was not. I got it. No, I started guarding him at
past
like
him,
the end of like the game, bro. Like they switched me sides,
3
bro.
goals, bro.
He's capping, bro. I started
Oh,
guarding him, bro, and then
Yeah.
after that, he didn't make a single one. He didn't make
No,
a single one.
he
when I
got
started
gassed
guarding
out.
him.
He got gassed out.
For real.
Facts. Go crazy in the first half. Second half, I'm done.
Second half, bro, was out.
He did his job already.
Uh,
But yeah, how was your weekend, Brian?
good, man.
Good.
Good fun, family time, Friday,
Nice.
this is my own family, my mom. And then Saturday with the rest of the family. It's my cousin's birthday too. So we ended
Oh, a
up
lot of family, huh?
going to his house. Yeah.
That's good, man. That's good. And then how's it been back in Merced now?
Fucking tiring, bro. I don't know.
I feel it, man.
I
I
just
feel
woke
it.
up from a nap. I had to take a nap because I was like, fuck, I don't even feel good. I was like, nah, I'm
Oh,
gonna have
yeah?
to take a nap. Yeah.
Man, that was about to be me too. I just got off work. like about an hour ago.
Uh, is it
Came back.
overtime? Overtime or what?
Not really overtime. I started at 12. Clocked out at
Yeah,
7. Not too bad. Right, just a normal shift. You
yeah.
know what I mean? Nothing too crazy.
That's right.
Um, and then at least I don't work tomorrow. So tomorrow I'm straight sleeping a
Uh,
little bit.
yeah, for sure.
But then I'm back at it on Wednesday. And they scheduled me on the weekend after I told them not to. Like I got my event
Yeah.
coming up. I can't make it this weekend. And they still schedule me on the weekend. But I told 'em- I gotta tell them, I plan on being sick that weekend, so I can't come in.
Yeah.
Something
For
like that.
real.
I plan I plan on having a headache that day, so I can't
We
come
already
into
got the
work.
positive COVID test ready.
Exactly, exactly.
I had to use that sick day.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Already. I just started, man. First day
bro.
off training.
Bro just
And
started,
um
and he's already using the paid leave.
and the
Uh,
boss was telling me too, he's like, I had to fire the rest of these guys because they keep calling off. I'm like,
Wow, that
He's trying to scare
that's
you.
crazy.
The
That's
scare tactic.
crazy.
I'm like, he's not gonna like what I tell him in a few days, bro.
bro.
It's like now that
But
you
now,
mention it.
now that you mentioned calling out,
Be like,
Yeah.
I'm feeling pretty sick.
nah,
This weekend coming up.
exactly, bro. I think yeah. Anyways, yeah, but I know the last time since when was the last time we met up, Brian? Let's see. Oh, when you came to Merced, when we came to
Mercedes,
Merced,
Mercedes.
Yep.
talked
Tuesday.
to
We
Luke a
talked to
little
Luke.
bit,
It was
and
last
then
week.
yeah, I mean it was pretty cool. So, how have you been feeling since then?
To be honest, just the same. Just feel like I have to work on on myself basically.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and I know you've seen like the rest of the guys in the group chat now, like Poncho, like Zenas.
Yeah.
I know Zenas is in class right now, so you can't be here. But
Yeah.
I mean, you can see that you're kind of moving along through the selection process a little bit
Yeah.
more, right? Kind of moving on towards the last final steps. Kind of got to talk a little bit, with our coach Luke, and kind of understand, a few things you can work on for yourself.
Yeah.
Um, but now, we're kind of towards the step of the selection process where you're getting exposed a little bit more to doing the work on,
Yeah.
how exactly, you can grow the business, right? I think you've seen a little bit of pictures from what Chris sends on the group chat, from what Zena sends on the group chat of
Yeah.
what, going out and networking, going around and retailing products. Because I think we went over it a few times that the pretty much the two ways to grow your business, like going to the meetings is not doing business. Listening to
Yeah.
audio is not doing business. The only two ways to grow your business is outgrowing your team and growing your revenue.
Yeah.
So those are obviously the two basics that our business is built on. So that's kind of what we want to talk about a little bit more today to kind of prepare you with a little bit more, mindset and a little bit more skill set on how exactly you can, go out there and start learning how to do the work, right? Because I mean, let me ask you, are you someone who is, very familiar or comfortable with when it comes to talking to people?
I say no.
No? Okay, you were just like the rest of us, right? Maybe
Yeah.
except Chris, but kind of like the rest of us, right? So then, when it comes to the business, how do you see yourself kind of, stretching yourself to get out of your comfort zone to do something like that?
Yeah. Say just doing it for the first time and then just keep doing,
Exactly.
it's just gonna basically like learning by doing, just practicing the more.
Uh-huh.
That's basically the only way I'm get better at it and then start getting comfortable at it. Just like anything
Exactly.
else we do.
Yeah,
Yeah,
literally.
exactly.
Yeah.
Like right now, it's something that's very new to you, right? So
Yeah.
exactly, obviously, want to show you a little bit more how and how exactly to do it, and exactly what type of mindset you want to have, so you can start getting in the repetitions. Like
Yeah.
it's just like working out, right? Except for your mental, your brain. Same
Yeah.
thing, just like working out. It comes through repetition. It comes through a lot of failures. It comes through a lot of reflections and learning, about what you did wrong and what you could do better. Um, So that's kind of what we want to talk about a little bit more today. I did have a few materials that I wanted to send out to you. That's why I asked you earlier if you,
Yeah.
got through the last ones that we sent out to you, because I wanted to send out this next round, which is a little bit more relevant when it comes to doing the work. So
Mm.
I think after the meeting, I can send those out to you.
Yeah.
Um, but I do want to show you one thing. Uh, so basically, to break it down a little bit is when it comes to growing your business, like I said, it comes down to your team and PV, is revenue,
Yeah.
right? So then, how do you get those things? First, I start off with probably the easier one, which is PV. And this is something we can help out for all the new launches out there. I don't know if we went over it last time, or not last time, but a few times ago when we met up, when we talked about a little bit of ways of how, we can help, start introducing products from the Amway business to people in your network,
Yeah.
right? Remember, has Chris or anyone ever talked to you about, grand opening before?
Um, I'm not sure, but I've heard of it. I know in for sure
Mm-hmm.
in the past zone.
Sounds a little familiar, but not too
Yeah.
much. Okay, so pretty much what it is, I mean, Chris, if you have some pictures of yours, you can go ahead and send them on Brian's group chat so he can see a little bit more. But basically, when everyone is a new launch in the business, I mean, I don't expect you to know everything about the Amway products, all the
Yeah.
benefits and all the things that do better. The good thing is you don't have to,
Mm-hmm.
because you have access to a lot of people in your line of sponsorship who are a little bit more experienced and have a little bit more knowledge when it comes to that. For example, Chris or me
Yeah.
or Francisco, right? Or anybody's willing to help you. And then this is, where you can leverage us to help connect, people in your network to the different products and services that we have.
Yeah.
And the easiest way that we do that for new launches is setting up a grand opening for them. So basically, what it is where we find a spot, pick a day, a time, and a spot to set up a big event. Like I don't know if we sent any pictures of it, of the ones that we've done recently to your group chat, but essentially it is. Um, yeah, we set up like a big event, all the big tables and things like that with all the different products to showcase, from the
Yeah.
artistry to the excess to the Nutrilite. And basically, all you have to do is invite people from your network and help connect them, bridge the gap to us,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Where we can kind of help you out a little bit more with connecting different products and services to them, right? So I don't know if, yeah. But yeah, that's something we do for new launches all the time, because I mean the best example that we have is from Chris right here, right? So Chris, can you share a little bit about your grand opening when you first launched?
Yeah, so kind of just adding on to what Tona was saying. My grand opening, I honestly didn't really like, like Kona kind of just mentioned to me like, oh, it's a grand opening and then I'm gonna, throw for my business. And at first I didn't really know what I needed to do, but then Tona really just kind of broke it down. It's like, your only like role is literally to just invite people, and it's just like hospitality. Like not really, cause like everybody knows me, so it's really just like inviting people. So
Yeah.
to me that was like, all right, it's not that bad. But I was kind of just like more scared when it came to like, telling people like in my family like, oh, I have a business, I have a grand opening. I was kind of like not scared but like nervous of like their reaction, like what they would think of me. I'd say that's like the hardest part. But after you do it a few times, you kind of just start getting in a rhythm and start kind of just calling your whole family up. And that's pretty much what I did. I just like wrote down like everybody like who I called, like my tias, my tios, my primos, my like pretty much just like almost like my whole family.
Yeah.
And it was a really good outcome. But I feel like I couldn't have done it without Tona, without Poncho, without all these other uplines to help me. And because of that, it's because I had no product knowledge. I was just
Yeah.
there and I knew everybody, so I was able to connect everybody with Tona, with Dula, with Quan. Quan was there for my grand opening. And so there was a lot of other business partners there who were able to help me out, close sales, help me out when it came to like knowing the products and knowing what's even inside of the products. So it's really just me connecting and like introducing like my family to them. And at the end of the day, I remember we ended up making around like I think $1,200 in revenue, and like profits was like $300 to $400. Um, but I mean that was pretty like good. I mean for like my grand opening, I'm pretty sure it was like a
Yeah.
total of like around 300 PV, which is yeah, you know, like roughly like $1,100 in products, and that was like my third month in the business. So, you know, not just me seeing that income, but when my mom and my dad, you know, like they saw me make that much money in like 4 hours, they were like,
Yeah.
hey, you know, like you should keep doing it. You know, like the way you were seeing you grow, you know, the way you're dressing, the way you're acting, the way you're talking, you know, like we like it. And, you know, on top of that, you're making money. Why not keep doing it? And
Yeah.
it was also like another great opportunity to like meet, you know, my business partners, you know, because my parents would always kind of ask me, you know, like, oh, what meeting are you going to? Oh, who are you going with? So well, now when my whole family pretty much met, you know, like Tona, they met
Yeah.
Pancho, they met, you know, a lot of my business partners, you know, now they don't really have any objections when I kind of, you know, when I go out for so long or when I go out to other meetings. I just let them know who I'm going with because, you know, they were able to meet them. And, you know, I'm pretty sure Tono can kind of share more when it comes to like, I'd say like actually connecting with my mom because like I remember he always shared this thing that, you know, like how my mom always thanks him a lot, you know, for like me actually connecting to Tona and Tona helping me a lot because back then
Yeah.
I, you know, I was just, you know, always hanging on very negative associations and I was completely different.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, my parents were able to see that transition in me. So not only is it like a great opportunity for us to connect with like your family and get to know them on like a deeper scale, but it's also a great opportunity, you know, for like you to, you know, make, you know, profits, you know, very early on in the business, and for you to kind of see, you know, like, you know, that, you know, this business does work, you know, like you're able to really, you know, move products. And, you know, if you're someone who's like kind of known for that, which I'm kind of someone who's known for being able to move a lot of products, then, you know, you can kind of help other people as well when it comes to grand openings or, you know, just, um,
Yeah.
yeah, you know, be able to host as many grand openings as you want. Because I've done a few
Yeah.
grand openings and, you know, they've been pretty successful. I've had some flops, but, you know, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, for sure, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, you can tell from what Chris shared is that he had a lot of success, doing these grand openings, and that's because he
Yeah.
invited his A/B list. So what A/B list means, it's one of the materials that I want to send out to you next time, is basically, well, your list A is those closest people to you, which is what your
Yeah.
close friends, your family. I always say your list A is the people that can walk into your house and take something from your fridge. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
so me. All right, so me. No, I'm just
Nah,
kidding.
nah,
But
definitely not getting in that.
so yeah, but basically, yeah. So your list A is those closest people to you, and then your list
Yeah.
B is kind of those acquaintances. The people you know who they are. You may see them every now and then, but
Yeah.
maybe you don't know too much about them. But at least you guys know of each other. And these two are very crucial because when it comes to sharing products out to people, even business as well, products and business, we're gonna talk about
Yeah.
both, but we're gonna start with products first. It's a lot of the time they're not really so interested in the products, which because it's just normal everyday use products, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And obviously there are a few differences in quality and from the things that the others use. For the most time, the regular person doesn't see much of a difference, but the reason they're so willing to support is because of you,
You. Yeah.
right? They always say that people move products. So when Chris was able to call up his whole family, yeah, they wanted to support, they wanted to buy good products. Most importantly, they wanted to support Chris.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
that's how, this is, a very important way to connect these people. And that's how Chris was able to build his large customer base to even today that he still has. Um, but obviously, when it comes to that, it is, obviously introducing your business to your family. And I remember you mentioned a little bit about, your thoughts about that. So I wanted to ask, do they kind of know a little bit about, the business you're pursuing, or, what's kind of like the update on that?
Nah, to be honest, I feel like nobody really knows anything. I haven't
Uh-huh.
really told them at all, or
Mm.
Yeah, that's good. That's good, right? Obviously,
or
keep it to
nothing.
your
If I
a
kind
little.
of try to explain it to them a couple times, maybe, but like they have no idea what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Mm.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah.
Are they like super old school or something? Or are they just like,
Yeah, I'd say more. Yeah, I'd say old school Mexican.
mm.
Mm.
So they really don't know what the hell I'm talking about. If I say
Yeah.
marketing or
Yeah. I mean,
some try to explain to them it's like building a team, and from building a team, bigger your team is, the more money you get.
uh-huh.
Well, they understand.
Yeah, obviously it's a little hard, even like them hearing it and also you
Yeah,
explaining it. Obviously, since you're still in the
yeah,
process, still kind of learning how to explain it. So it takes some time. So it kind of makes sense. But then how do you think they would, kind of react to kind of find out that, this was the type of business that you're running?
They'll probably be like, oh shit, all right, it's pretty dope.
Oh
And
yeah,
I'd be like, pretty happy.
pretty
Or
supportive. Yeah,
pretty interested to see what it is mainly.
that's
So
good.
they'll be able to get to see what it is, that day if I do end up doing a grand
Mm.
opening, man.
That's good. Yeah, because it's similar to my family. Because when I
Yeah.
introduced it to them, they were very supportive. My family is a type that, well, obviously, if I'm still doing good in school, still doing good with like my budget and
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
everything, and they trust my judgment. They know I'm somebody that's
Yeah.
smart and wouldn't put myself in the wrong situations. So they trust whatever I'm doing. So when I introduced the business to them, they were very supportive. And even to this day, my mom, my dad, they buy products from me. My mom, she's really big on the skincare. My dad, he buys a lot of the vitamins from Nutrilite. And because I don't have a big family like that here in California, it's pretty much just
Yeah.
us. So I mean, whatever I do have, they are very supportive of. But the reason that I ask that is because a lot of the times that's not the case. I'm sure,
Mhm.
we've talked many times about the different objections that come, when people think about Amway and things like that. And obviously that goes back to, the way people were building business back then. So a lot of the time, maybe, people in our network are familiar with Amway or network marketing or BWW or whatever it
Mhm.
is, but they may not see it in the same value as
Mm-hmm.
us, right? For example, I know from Chris's experience that when he shared the business to his family, they weren't very supportive because they understood of other companies like Herbalife or Primerica, for example, that ran a similar business model, and they thought it was exactly like that.
Mm-hmm.
So when it came to introducing those products and services, I don't think they were so supportive at first, right?
Yeah.
Like I remember Chris, he bought the products and he had to hide them in his room,
Yeah.
Yeah.
so they wouldn't
Uh-huh.
find out. But then eventually they did find out,
Yeah. My
right?
mom found my
But
products.
yeah, they found the
Yeah.
products.
And
But
that's
luckily, at that point is where Chris was already starting to change a lot. Like he mentioned before, he is a completely different person now than what he used to be. So he used
yeah.
to be like around the wrong people, doing the wrong things. So when they saw him carrying himself more professionally, dressing well, speaking well, they knew that what he was doing was good. And like you said, when he got the chance to introduce us to his family, all the products, big event, like he said, his mom came up to me and she thanked me, for
Yeah.
meeting Chris, introducing him to everyone, and basically, guiding him towards a better direction. And I mean, obviously, that's priceless, right? That's something that, a lot of people don't see. And the
Yeah.
reason for that is because when people think about success, they think about the money, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like when it comes to a business, no one's gonna support you until they see that paycheck,
Yeah. To
right?
be honest.
Facts.
And it's that way for everything, right? But when it comes to building a business, it's gonna take time to see that paycheck. So what that means is it's gonna take time for them to really support you. And, the other type of results that you can show them is that intangible growth, like Chris talked about already, right? The growth in
Yeah.
yourself, hearing
Mm-hmm.
yourself, seeing the change in yourself. That's another thing they could see to see that, that this is something good for you. But this is obviously when it comes to like negative, more negative parts. I know you said your parents are a little bit more, or your family is a little bit more supportive, which is good, similar to mine.
Yeah.
But maybe there's someone around there in your network that might not be so supportive. So
Yeah.
that's what we mean by kind of having the right mindset, that they just have a different perspective of what business is, of what, like when they hear business, they think of like traditional business, like
Yeah.
big buildings, employees, inventory, things like that. Or when they think about Amway, they think about the old Amway, or
Mm-hmm.
Amway under a different mentorship, or Amway under no mentorship, right? Because obviously they aren't the ones sitting in the meetings like us,
Yeah.
getting the same information, getting, talking to the coaches like we are. So obviously, they have a certain perception of it. So I was just saying that, just to kind of make you aware. I know Francisco also went through something similar like that because his family, they were in Amway too, right, Pancho?
Yeah.
My family friends, not my parents. But my mom did a bunch of different MLMs, so she understood like the gist of it. Honestly, like I was trying to be sneaky about it and like not really tell her, but she was
Yeah.
asking me like, "Oh, what do you do nowadays?" Because she knew I was like doing different things, and I was like, "Oh, I'm selling." And she's like, "What are you selling?" I'm like, "Oh, vitamins." Oh, like, "Oh, you're an Amway, cool." I'm like, "What the heck?" But
Damn.
yeah, she wasn't like negative about it or anything. Like she did it herself. She
Yeah.
knows her family friends that they pretty much quit because what I learned is that they just got exhausted from doing everything. But they pretty much didn't have any mentorship to guide them along the way.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you do
Yeah.
the work continuously and you constantly check back with your coach, you're gonna get some results. And yeah, but she kind of knows it's like not the best way to make money, and she doesn't have to say it directly, but I have an engineering degree, so she kind
Yeah.
of challenges me in that way. So she'd have like subtle little things like, "Oh, when are you gonna quit?" Like, "Oh, are you still
Yeah.
doing that the soap and stuff?" Or just like small little things to poke at your ego. That's just how my mom is, though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I did have like a terrible experience with my A list actually
Mm.
from the first person on my list, actually, like probably one of my best friends at the time, was the first person I tried to DTM. And this is like me is talking about my experience overall. I listened to a bunch of audio, so I felt like I was ready. But in reality, when you kind of get hit with those like emotions of just like negativity, because right now it's like I kind of understand what you're feeling on top of the world, ready to take on something. But
Yeah.
once you get kind of hit with that first negative setback, it kind of tests yourself in a way, because um, like my friend was really negative because his mom did Amway
Yeah.
Mm.
and he understands all the like techniques and stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
when he was talking about like a pyramid scheme, and I asked him back, what do you mean? But like, what do you mean by a pyramid scheme? And he's like, oh, I already know you were gonna say that. It's like, dude, you
Mm.
already like, he already kind of like labeled me as one of those guys.
Yeah.
There's some people that like will have their own perspective, and you can't really change that.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
exactly. Yeah, a lot of fixed-minded people.
Yeah.
I like what Pancho said. It's either you'll hear, "Oh, you're in Amway, that's great," or "Oh, you're in Amway."
Yeah.
Like everyone has a different perspective of it. But regardless of if it's good or bad, you can't let that shape what you've been thinking. You can't let other people influence you like that.
Yeah.
And yeah, the reason we're talking about that, because like I said, obviously, if it's just a random person out there, most of the time it's like whatever, right? But when it comes from, the people you care the most about, obviously it hurts a little bit more. Yeah, go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, I kind of just wanted to add in there because, like Tona said, when it's, like a random person, you're like, whatever, But when it's
Yeah.
someone like, like your best friend, like for my case, for example, like when I tried, kind of just, I wasn't even like trying to like make him a business partner. I was just, after my first in person meeting, I saw the
Yeah.
plan, I saw the money, like 3K a month, like this business is legit, like I can do it, like after I saw my first board plan, I was like, all right, I was super stoked. I went back home. The next day, my friend comes over, hey, how was your meeting? I saw you were in a business thing. You posted on your story. I'm like, yeah, bro, I was speaking up on stage. I introduced myself, da, 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 da. And then I told him, like, what, I was like, oh, it's Amway. This and that. He's like, oh, bro, that's like, like a pyramid scheme. And I'm like, oh, no, it's not. Like trust, like, like I saw, I saw, like, I'm working with someone close. Like, I understand how it's going. And then he started asking me this question. Oh, okay, so like, how does this? And I'm like, I didn't know how to answer it. Why? Because I'm still
Yeah.
learning. I was in the third step of the process. I thought I knew everything, but I didn't. So he started asking me these questions, and I didn't know how to answer them. And so that kind of proved his point, but it didn't really prove the point. And so, like, after that, I got super negative, and I'm like, man, like, I'm in a pyramid scheme. Like, this isn't real. Like, like my friend is right. And the reason I was like trusting my friend is because we have that friendship. We have like that that trust. Like I have that emotional kind of like brotherly love for him. And so I've
Yeah.
known him for a while. And after that, I actually ghosted Tona for like 2 days. I didn't text
Yeah.
him on the group chat because just like you, we had a group chat, and I just went ghost. I remember I just like sparked up those 2 days and was pretty much just thinking about everything. Like I was not like like on the chat at all. I was like off Messenger because like I knew if I go on Messenger, it's gonna say I'm active, or if I'm on Facebook, it's gonna say I'm active. So I was avoiding those apps,
Yeah.
and so I remember they were kind of texting like, "Oh, how you been? Like, oh, is everything okay?" And then in my head, I'm seeing them. I'm like, I would see that message, I'd throw my phone. I'm like, nah, I don't want to respond to it because they're gonna try to get me. And then so not
Yeah.
until like the
Mhm.
next day, like the second day or third day, I text Tona because like he kind of texted me like PM, like personal message. I'm like, all right, let me just tell him. So I opened up with him. I kind of let him know what I was going through and like how my friend shared that to me and how it made me negative. So my friend sharing some negative info, like kind of negatively influencing me, kind of like started to make me think these negative thoughts. And so I kind of shared back with Tona, and he was actually able to connect me with Quan. And when he did that, I feel like a lot of my like a lot of like my like pretty much like everything I was thinking of, like all the clutter that I had, pretty much just got decluttered because Quan kind of pointed out like, dude, you're still new. Like I don't expect you to answer these questions. Like I don't expect you to know all this information. Like
Yeah.
you saw your first board pen, you literally don't know really anything. Like you're in a process to learn, for a reason. And so that kind of like made me realize, okay, you know what, like like she's right. Like I'm still learning. Like I
Yeah.
shouldn't know everything. And something else that she kind of really pointed out that I couldn't even think of was I'm the one in the meetings. Was my friend at the meeting? No. So he wasn't able to see anything that I saw. He wasn't able to talk to anybody who I talked to. And so after that, I was like, man, like and that made me realize how easily influenced I am. So like pretty much what anybody says, oh okay, I believe you. Like thanks for letting me know. But yeah, I just wanted to kind of add that in there.
Thank you. No,
Yeah.
that's how I kind of felt to it sometimes,
Hmm.
Like, when you would look up just the company in general, I feel you get so many negative
Hmm.
reviews, so many negative comments,
Mhm.
just based off Reddit, YouTube, and
Mhm.
it's
Yeah.
like all these bad stuff, blah blah blah. For a second too, I thought, all right, like I don't know if I should do this,
Uh,
I don't know, blah blah
yeah.
blah. You get those negative thoughts, but at the end of
Yeah.
the day, like, well, you know what, like I'm still gonna give it a shot. Like, let me learn first about it,
Mm.
because at the same time, they didn't really provide like real evidence towards it,
Yeah.
or like factual. It was more like opinions, So it's like,
Yeah.
It's more
So I
just
just
like
started to
attacking
think,
it.
and it's like, all right, like I still don't know, but like these are some questions I even had for today too, Like my
Yeah.
question was, what's different about Phil Lee's team compared to other big teams, or like other another team and like another big team like that
Mm.
in California, based off because, and I got that question because of when I started reading all those negative things and all
Yeah.
that, I started to think, well, I don't know how these other teams function, I don't know if
Yeah.
they have the same values as the team like Phil Lee's and all the people he brought down, all
Mm.
his downlines or all your guys' uplines.
Mm.
Like, do they
Yeah.
support each other? Maybe they don't really support each other and they're just trying to get people to make money, So
Mm.
that's what I was just thinking, like, all right, we'll see.
Yeah. So that's a good question because when it comes to Phil's team, well, it's just a small team. Small team. It's a huge team, but
Yeah,
there's a small team in the scale of BWW, which is
yeah,
our mentorship. Because when you say other teams out there, you're talking about other mentorships. And to be honest, do I know what their building business is like? Not really, right? Like I said,
yeah,
I don't spend too much time looking at other mentorships and what they do, but from what you see online, you can kind of get an idea of how they're doing, right? Because
yeah,
it's like those opinions that people say, obviously they don't just come from nowhere, right?
yeah,
Obviously, there's got to be some reason they said that, and obviously they don't mention which mentorship there was a part of, but
yeah,
when you look at BWW as a whole, it doesn't match. You can easily tell that they're not the ones talking about it. And that's why, I know this weekend we have our huge spring leadership event,
yeah,
and that's where you're gonna get to see the whole BWW team. Not the whole BW team, but just like
West
the West.
Coast.
Yeah, West Coast, right? Because there's a lot more in the East Coast. The big, like the one where everyone comes together is not till like November. That one's like in the
yeah.
fall.
So basically, there's different mentorship programs. All right, you see, like I
Yeah,
thought there was just one, like
I
one
remember
just for the whole Amway,
I remember one time we had a meeting here in San Jose. This was way
Yeah,
before you or even Chris was in the business. I remember we had a meeting at one of the hotel venues,
yeah,
and in one of the rooms next over, it was another mentorship also having a meeting.
Mm-hmm.
in
Yeah.
the same hotel, same time, and everything.
Yeah.
It was like just like everyone's in their suit, everyone's got their excess, like kind of the same thing, but it's not our mentorship. What did
Yeah.
they talk about in that meeting? I don't know because I didn't join, but you can obviously see that there's two
Yeah.
different organizations, right? Like obviously, maybe the things they promoted in there were different than what we did, or were different than what BWW promotes.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, you don't want to spend too much time worrying about the other ones. You want to worry about
Yeah.
the one that
That's
you're in,
fine.
BWW. So you
Yeah.
want to like ask yourself, like this weekend when you come, when you see the people on the stage or anyone that you talk to, especially the people on the stage, right? The
Yeah.
diamonds who already succeed in this business, you want to listen to what they say, what they promote, how they, talk about the business, and ask yourself, is this the right way or not? And I think that'll give you, clear idea to understand if we are building the business in the right way. Because
Yeah.
what's the difference between us and other mentorships? Probably a lot, right? I mean, I know there's some mentorships that's only for like Latinos, right? Because
Yeah.
there's no like there's a big Latino population in Amway, right? Probably like Mexico or like South America,
Yep.
and the way they're building difference is probably way different than how we are right
Yeah.
now. But I'm not too worried about it. But like I said, because of those other mentorships, that's probably where these different opinions come around of how
Yeah.
people, perceive Amway. But you can only, like I said, it's too much of your mental capacity to worry about all the different mentorships out there. Obviously, the big
Yeah.
one you want to focus on is the one you're currently in. So that's why, up to this point, yeah, like I said, you're moving on in the process, you're coming on to the last steps, but at this point, you should still be questioning, things about me, things about
Yeah.
Francisco, things about Chris, things about Luke, things about Phil, things about the whole BWW organization, and asking yourself, is this right? Do I agree with this? Does this make sense?
Yeah.
Um, but like I said, up to this point, you've pretty much only seen not even just all of Phil's team. Oh, wait, you have seen all of Phil, not all, like a small portion of Phil's team when you
Yeah.
came to Fast Zone. So that was pretty much all Phil's team. But like I said, Phil's team is just a small portion of the whole BWW organization. So
Yeah.
when you get to see all the professionals, the doctors, the engineers that have been building this business with kids, with families, generations, then I think that'll give you like a better idea. Because, like I said, up to this point, you've only seen it from like the student's perspective
Yeah.
or like a young professional, right? So it'll
Yeah.
definitely widen your reference point a little bit more.
Mhm. I see.
So
Can
Thanks.
I add
yeah,
in?
we'll talk about that more. Obviously we're gonna have a meeting to prepare a little bit more about what to expect for that event.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll do that on like Wednesday or something. And then circling back to your grand opening, I think that's something we can, help schedule for you and plan out maybe next month, or we'll find a time, right? Like I said, we're
Yeah.
kind of packed up a little bit, but like I said, pretty much you don't have to worry about a lot of things because all the products and knowledge and leverage is what we can take care of. All you kind of have to do is find a spot, a good time where people are available, and start inviting people. And then that's something that Chris can help you out with because that's something he called up a lot of people from his list, and few came, few didn't come. You said they were gonna come, but they didn't end up coming. Some didn't come, but they ended up supporting later. You'll really get to see who's wanting to support you out
Yeah.
there.
That's true.
But that's just talking about a B list. Because same thing for like promoting the business, trying to expand the team. Like I
Yeah.
said, some people are looking for an extra source of passive income, or some people are looking for mentorship out there because they're similar like Chris, around the wrong people and they need a better life, or they're similar like me. When I started, I didn't really know too
Yeah.
much about what I wanted to do, so I needed the guidance and being around the right people. So similarly, sharing the business opportunity to people that is a good way to do it as well. But we'll talk about that more, obviously, in the materials as well. But that was just talking about a B list, which is, like I said, the people you know. There's obviously some established trust. But the thing about the A B list is it's limited, right? Like, I'm sure you don't know everybody on Earth, right? So there's only like a few select people that you do have a connection with, which is your A B list. But other than that, it's your C list, which is
Yeah.
just strangers out there. complete randoms that you've never met before. Everybody here, we all started off as Silas, right? I met
Yeah.
Poncho, he was a random. I met Chris on LinkedIn, he was a complete random. I met you through Chris, and I didn't know who you were, right? When you came to the workshop, I was like, man, this is just another student, right? And obviously, it took some time for us to get to know each other a little bit more to understand, who we are, what we're doing, things like that. But like I said, we all start off as just strangers, just
Yeah.
complete strangers. Kind of like your parents, right? They started off as
Yeah.
strangers as well, but somewhere along the way, we saw value. So when you do see people like Zenas out there networking and sharing the business opportunity to people, or you see Chris out there, retailing bundles and trying to sell products to people, those are all complete strangers, right? That
Yeah.
that he just wants to make a connection with, and he wants to help out in some way. But when it comes to talking to strangers, I mean, like now the world is in like such a place where it's like it's looked at it's like you're weird, if you're the guy out here talking to people, which is
Yeah.
which is so like it's so backwards, right? Because like I always say, like before COVID, like everyone was so social, like no one had a problem with it, right? But then
Yeah.
after the pandemic, after we were all quarantined, if you were the guy that, oh, look at this guy, his name is Stone.
Venus,
Huh.
bro.
Oh no, man, come on.
Is that you enter the Zoom?
Oh, yo, what happened,
Oh, that
bro?
is not how you
Oh,
enter
my
the
fault,
That's
Zoom.
my
not how you
fault.
make an entrance, bro.
That
That's
My
not
fault.
makes
how
You didn't
you make
scare
making
an
it.
Brian,
entrance.
bro.
He's cut.
Bro's
Yeah.
gonna,
All right.
bro's gonna drop after this. No, actually, no, I might drop after this.
Oh,
I
oh,
believe
Nah.
it. I
No, I'm just
believe it.
kidding. I was kidding. No, I was kidding. Welcome, Genius. We were actually just talking about A, B list, and then now we're talking about C list
mm,
because I was just telling Brian, what was I saying? Yeah, like I said, like during the pandemic, when everyone was quarantined after that, it's like no one would want to talk to each other.
true.
Right, like it was so looked weird upon if you were the guy out there talking to people, and it's something that's so normal, just making connections, which is
Yeah.
exactly what we do. So we do kind of do it in a way that's kind of formulated, kind of a way that'll make it easy. Because, I mean, you can ask Chris. The way he did it before. Like, let's say Zenith is just a complete stranger, and I'm Chris. I'd be like, "Yo, what's up, my man? Are you looking for a business opportunity? I got this great business. You want to get in?"
Yeah.
Not really.
That's what that's what Chris used to do.
Yeah.
That's
Right?
all I've been looking
Yeah.
for my
Hey, it
whole
went more like
life.
this. It went more like, hey man, how's it going? What's your name? And like, boom, introduce the name. Oh, okay, for sure. Or like, are you a college student? Oh yeah, yeah. Oh, okay. Have you ever thought about doing business? Oh yeah, I wanted it. Oh okay.
Every
Would you ever
day.
wanted to, and then I hit him with this. Would you like to diversify your income? I have a great business opportunity. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Get the contact. Text them. They never hit me back. They probably just give me a fake
Yeah.
number. Like they give me their number just so I can get away from
Yeah.
them. Cause I was
Yeah,
direct, like at them, like, hey man, how's it going, bro? You want a business opportunity? They're like, what?
yeah.
Yeah.
Or,
Mm.
or same thing with products. Let's say let's
Aggressive,
say
huh?
let's say Zenus, for example, just a guy that I know. Like, hey Zenus, bro, how you been, man? Or
Good,
hey,
cool.
I have some good protein, bro. In my shop. I know you're a big protein guy. You want some of my protein?
I mean, I got my own. I don't really need yours.
Mm. But my protein's better, bro. It has a lot better macros.
Oh, that's cool. How much does it cost?
It's only about like what, 40, $50. A
Whoa.
little bit more expensive, but yeah, think about the quality, man.
Oh, okay.
Eh. But you can see his reaction. You can see his
Yeah.
body language. You can see that he thinks that I'm some type of salesman coming up to him and trying to push products on him. So you can see this super direct approach. Sure, it might work for some people, but in reality, not really, right? And this comes down to like you said before, how people see Amway differently because they
Yeah.
see what are people who in Amway like? Oh, they just try and push products on me. Let's say me and Zenas were best friends for 10 years, and I told him, hey, Zenas, we can't be friends anymore if you're not going to buy toothpaste from me. Because some people do that. Like I said,
Nah.
not
Yeah.
BWW, but some people do that. But you can see that there's a certain way not to do it.
Yeah.
But luckily well, not us, but our mentor, Phil, and not just Phil, but the whole BWW organization kind of found a way to do it in a way that is meaningful, that makes connections. Because
Yeah.
obviously, to me, Chris is far more than just a business partner, or Zenus is far more than just a downline, or let's say my customer is just far more than someone that just buys products from me. But it's actually, establishing a connection with somebody and helping them find a need. Because in reality, like let's say business or products, for example, people won't really want it unless they have a need for it.
Yeah.
And that's something we're going to talk about today later when I show my screen. But basically, if Zenas was telling me that, his protein sucks and he's looking for an alter, or let's say he drinks Red Bulls and he's sick of the sugar and he's looking for a healthier alternative,
Yeah.
there's a need that I can help fulfill. Or let's say Poncho's sick of his 9 to 5 job and he's just looking for a way to escape the rat race. There's a need, and I have something that can help him, right?
Yeah.
Or let's say Chris, he's lost in life and he's looking for a mentor to help guide him in the right direction. That's something I can help him with.
Yeah.
So basically, the way we do it is that we want to talk to someone and get to know them eventually until we find a need. And when they have that need is where you can come in and help offer a solution. If they want it, that's good. If they don't, that's fine, right? But the way we break it down is through like 5 different levels of a conversation. And this is one of the materials I wanted to send out to you. Or maybe after today, I can send them out to you. But basically, it's breaking it down um, a little bit more here. I can kind of share my screen so you can kind of get an idea of what I'm talking about. So this is a sheet that our mentor Phil made for us. I can send this app to you. You say, or I can actually send it to you right now. Both be on it. What's your email, Brian? Like, oh, it might be on here. Brian, is this one?
Yeah.
Hey, I can tell
Or
you
you
this
could use
one.
the B-rolling too.
Rolon.
It's not this one.
Uh, actually, I think I've seen the other one. Use the B-rolling
Oh,
too.
B rolling too.
Be
How come I have both?
rolling.
Hey yo,
Got I
you
got
got
two B rolling.
you got his
He be
you got his
he
personal,
be
huh?
rolling.
Huh.
You got his
They both
Yo,
got
this
B-rolling.
looks bad, bro. This looks bad, bro. Nah,
hey hey you got his
I'm
personal
not looking.
email. You be emailing my boy Brian?
I literally
Nah.
nah, bro. Okay, so yeah, I'll send that to you. You can be an editor, so you can have this, and this will be useful to have because
Yeah.
basically this is how I learned. You know, when it came to talking to people, it's basically a DTM sheet, and what DTM means is dropping the message. Dropping the message in the sense of what's the message? It's the solution to their need, whether it's a product or a
Yeah.
business opportunity or an opportunity to connect to a mentor. I drop the message to see if someone is willing to take it, right? But there's a certain way that we lead up to it. Like I said, I wanted to send out some more materials beforehand, but maybe I'll just send them after. But it kind of breaks it down in a very easy way to kind of understand. Um, so it's broken down into 5 levels. Any conversation that you have with just a random, like I said, this is more for like C-list people because
Yeah.
your A, B list, you already have that trust, right? They already know Brian. They already know you're a cool guy. They'll talk to you. They'll hear you out. But this is when it comes to talking to complete strangers out there. So we break it down in 5 different steps. The first step is initiating, which is just starting the conversation. For a lot of people like me, when I started, that was the hardest step. Just
Yeah.
just opening your mouth and talking to someone. That was the hardest step for me. But for someone like Chris, it's so easy, right? But for someone like me, it was pretty difficult. It was just like a mental battle for myself. But in reality, it's probably the easiest step. So basically what you want to do is just start talking to someone. And then once you see that there's someone who's wanting to talk to you back, is where you can start deepening the conversation in the second step. We're going to go in detail about each of them, but basically, deepening is asking those questions to really get to know someone a little bit more. Right, like I can give you some examples. Like if I were talking to Zenus, I would be like, "Hey, my man, what's your major?" Or if I'm talking to Pancha, I'll be like, "Hey man, what do you do for work?" Just curious, right? Or if I'm talking to Chris, I'll be like, "Hey, where you from?" Right? Just want to get to know them a little bit better, right?
Yeah.
Because you just want to see that you're interested. You want to talk to them. You want to get to know them a little bit more. Like I said, to me, a candidate is not just a candidate, but it's someone that I could potentially have a connection with and help out. Same thing for a customer. So your goal when it comes to deepening a conversation, like I said, is trying to find that need. Because, like I said, if I asked Francisco if what he does for work, let's say he says he's an engineer, works 9 to 5,
Yeah.
I would ask him a little bit more of, oh, I mean, how are you enjoying that? Is that everything, you thought it would be? She'd be like, yeah, but maybe he says the hours kind of suck, or it's not everything I thought it was gonna be when I graduate.
Yeah.
That's the need. That's when I understand he's looking for something. Or same thing with Zenith. I'm like, oh, Zenith, you like taking your protein? He's like, yeah, I like the protein. I'm like, okay. Is there anything you don't like about it? He'd be like, yeah, maybe the macros or something like that, the price. That's where I can help him out. So basically, you want to ask questions a little bit more to just find a reason that they would need
Yeah.
something. And then you can get into probably probably the most important step of the DTM, which is actually dropping the message, and that's called Masawa. And basically, what Masawa means, it's an acronym. It stands for making someone aware of what or who is available.
Mm.
What or who, which is both, right? The what is the business or a product, right? And the who is your mentor, your business partners, a connection that can help them out. And basically, that's what it is. It's dropping the message. It's like dropping the breadcrumb, that breadcrumb, and seeing if they take it or not. If they don't, it's fine. If they do, I can talk a little bit more about it. But basically, this is where you put it out there that there's a business opportunity, there's a connection to a qualified mentor, you have a product that can help someone. You basically put it on the table. Do they
Yeah.
take it? I don't know, right? Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. It's up to them. But obviously, we're looking to like if they do, right? So then you can get into the next few steps, which is qualifying. This is different. I'm gonna talk about it a little bit more, and then taking away, which is getting the contact from someone, staying in touch with them, and I can put in a good word for you with my mentor,
Yeah.
or invite them to a workshop. Kind of like the similar one that you went to, but basically, continuing like that staying in touch to follow up more. But basically, this breaks it down a little bit more. Like you said, you can see all of these little tabs that break down each step a little bit more, gives you some examples to talk about. We'll
Yeah.
go through each of them just to give you an idea. Um, but a lot of the time, if I can show you this whole sheet, it's pretty much just theory, right? It's pretty much just a framework. The real way to learn it, like you said earlier, is going out there and just trying, just
Oh, really?
applying it, just fail. Like Zenas can tell you, right? Just failing, reflecting, learning what you did wrong, and seeing what you can do better next time. That's probably the best way to learn. But obviously, you want to do a little mix of both, right? Preparing yourself, getting out there, learning, because there's a lot of different things that you're going to experience. I'm sure, have you been reading Zenus's AMs? His
Yeah.
accountability method. Yeah, you'll see he puts a lot of different examples of the different
Yeah.
things that he runs into on a day-to-day basis. Some negative guy, some super supportive guy, some guy that maybe they didn't even talk about business, but they talked about just something else in life, right? Like you run into a lot of crazy things, and you can't fit that all in this sheet. So, like I said, this is pretty much a theory, a framework. But the best way to get out to learn is to just get out there. But basically, on here, there are some examples of like role playing and just what an example of a conversation would look like with different types of people. You can see you got Phil right here. He's right there, doing a little example, a little role playing. But basically there's different types of people that you're gonna meet out there, and you can kind of like categorize them into a yellow light, a green light, and a red light, kind of like the street signs, right? Red light, green light, yellow light. So to explain that a little more, a green light is somebody that's looking for opportunity, which for it, that was me, for example, because when I got DTM, We call it DTM. When someone dropped it, when my sponsor dropped a message to me, his name's Leo. I'm not sure if you met him at Fast Zone. I don't know if he was there, but you'll get to meet him at the event. He's the guy that dropped the message to me. And if you were to ask me what he said to me, I honestly do not remember. I do not remember anything that he said to me that day. You know, I remember two words that he said to me, and those two words were business opportunity.
Yeah.
That's all I needed to hear. Because for me, I was looking. I needed
Yeah.
something. I was trying to find what else was out there. So I didn't care about anything he had to say. I heard business opportunity, and I was like, okay, let's stay in touch. I want to learn more. That's a green light. Because, they're looking for something. They make it easy for you.
Yeah.
But in reality, you don't meet too many people like that. Like I said, I was one of them. Let's say I think Chris was one of them when I met him on
Yeah,
LinkedIn.
I was one of them.
Francisco was the one that DTM Zenith when he was, first getting
Yeah.
started in the business. So Zenith, were you a green light?
I was green light.
Yeah, he was a green light
Hell
Oh, I
because
no.
bet. Let's go.
Hey,
they met at a
Travis.
Taco Bell. They met at a Taco
Yeah.
Bell, the one on campus
Of course, it
actually.
was a taco. Nah,
What do you mean, bro?
nah.
They
I
met at a
got
Taco.
what I
This is the
get. I
most
got
formal
It was all
opportunity
noisy.
presentation.
That's all you heard back in the background.
Yeah. Yeah, so Zenith was looking, right? But
Yeah.
like I said, in reality, you don't meet too many people like that. The
Yeah.
most common one you will meet is probably yellow light.
Mm-hmm.
And what yellow light is they're unsure. Well, what that means is they'll probably ask some questions.
Uh-huh.
Like if I were to DTM, Zenith, for example, say, hey, I have connection with a mentor, I have access to a great business opportunity. I got a $3 burrito at the time. They always change. All right, Zenith, click out. But yeah, but basically, if I try to show them business opportunity, some people might ask, okay, what business is it? Or who's your mentor? Or what
Yeah.
exactly do you guys do? Or how did you meet? Just a lot of questions
Mm-hmm.
because sure they might be interested, but they just want to learn more. In reality, we don't say so much right away. You probably noticed throughout the first few steps of the process, you didn't even know what Amway was or what
Yeah.
BWW was or what exactly everything entails. And there's reasons for that, right? And
Exactly.
a lot of it is because, we don't just share about our business with complete randoms out there. Is first, I just want to get the chance to understand who they are, what they're looking for. But in reality, this is what a lot of people are like out there, yellow lights, is
Mm-hmm.
because they're questioning, they're asking themselves, why should I do this compared to what I'm doing right now? Why should I do this compared to real estate? Why should I do this compared to drop shipping? Why should I do this compared to going to medical school?
Yeah.
And all of those questions, we answer them throughout the process, right? But first, we just want to get them there so we can establish that trust and be willing to answer those questions, back and forth dialogue, right? But yeah, you get those types of people. We're gonna talk about it more. But another one of the most common ones you meet is the red lights.
Oh yeah.
And let's see if the red lights. And like Pancho said it earlier, like if you drop the message to someone, they might ask, "Is that one of those pyramid schemes, or
Yeah.
is that Amway, or is that something like that? I've heard of
Fair
it
enough.
before."
I don't think I've
Or
ever
the one
red light before.
you haven't gotten that before. I've gotten that a few times
I've had a
I'm
few
actually.
really pretty
too.
friend.
No, you know the most common one I get when I drop the message, or not even when I drop the message, when I just initiate the conversation, they don't
Mm.
say anything. They just walk away.
They just walk away, or they like look at you
that's
and they don't
that's the
talk.
most common one.
They look at you, they don't
Yeah,
talk,
I'll
and they
be like,
walk away. It's like what?
yeah, they just won't say anything. They just walk away. I'm like, okay,
Dude, I
whatever.
was having a great conversation with someone, and I mentioned business once, and he just walks away, shakes my hand, walks away. I'm like, damn.
Yeah, exactly. So you get these types of people. So you want to
Yeah.
understand.
Yeah.
Well, if they're a red light, odds are they're not looking. Right? Odds are it's not even worth explaining to them because if you try explaining to them, it's like just trying to convince them. And nobody ever wants to convince anyone. And like I said, I don't need any individual to join my business for me to succeed. So
Yeah.
I'm never trying to convince anyone. And some people do. Like you asked before, what's the difference between BWW and other mentorships? Let's say
Yeah.
one of those differences is the way they DTM. It's more
Yeah.
like convincing, right? So that's another difference. Another reason why people have that different perspective of what Amway is, right? But like I said, we do it a certain way. So for these people, you don't even want to spend too much time with them. Like I said, they usually just walk away, or they'll give you negatives, or they'll tell you, "Oh, you're wasting your
Yeah.
time, you're wasting everything, blah blah blah." But it's not worth it, right? But yeah, does this kind of make sense? You kind of understand the gist of it.
Yeah. To be honest, yeah.
Okay, so we'll go a little bit in deeper about each of the few steps. So, like I said, you're gonna have access to this. I already sent it to you. You can check if you have it. And this is a good thing to always come back to, refer back to, because throughout your first year, the you want to kind of master this. You want to master. This is the one thing you want to master right away because you're gonna use it for the rest of your business. You're always gonna, because what, to go diamond, you need 6 legs that are platinum.
Yeah.
So that means you need to sponsor at least minimum 6 people to go diamond.
Yeah.
And some people haven't even been able to sponsor one. Not because they can, not because this business sucks. It's because they're still working on how to DTM. So this is definitely one of the most important skills you want to learn right away. That's why you see Zenus out there, just going out there, failing and learning because
Yeah.
he wants to master the skill.
Yeah.
But it comes with time, right?
Also,
But
like, I
yeah,
also
just
got it just to like practice talking to people because I don't do that enough, you know. Yeah.
uh-huh.
Yeah, just like freaking like getting the conversation toned down. Like, cause I feel like if you try to go straight into DTM without like not really knowing how to talk to people, like you're just setting yourself up for failure.
Mm.
True.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good point. Yeah, the way you come off,
Yeah.
matters a lot, right?
Oh yeah.
But yeah, just to talk about it, each step a little bit more. Let's start with the first one, which is initiate. Like I said, for some people, well, in theory, should be the easiest step. It's just starting a conversation with someone. But for people like me, it was the hardest step.
Yeah.
So the way you initiate, like I said, just any way to start a conversation. There's no right or wrong. Just any way you can get talking to someone. Like if I told Chris, like, hey, I thought your haircut is goofy, right? I think your hairline is crooked. If I told that to Chris, he either takes it the wrong way, which he
I'm like,
probably
huh?
would, right?
I'm like, what?
Or he'd
I'm like,
be,
let me see your barber.
yeah,
I'm like, show me your
yeah,
hairline.
exactly, something like
Something
that.
like that.
Or maybe he would be like, oh, do you have, a better option? Do you have, a bar I'm looking for, but I
Yeah,
know
I'm
my
looking for a
hairline's
barber.
chopped. Or yeah, so it could end up like that. It probably won't. So that's probably not the icebreaker you want to use.
The one
But
I
like I
use
said,
is,
it
hey, I like your shoes, bro. Where'd you get them at?
exactly,
Especially when they're
exactly.
J's.
Exactly. I like your shoes. I like your haircut. A Zenith. That shirt's that jacket's pretty cool. Where'd you get that at?
I think I did that one
Yeah.
for Brian. I think I asked you, I liked your
Oh
shoes, right, Brian?
really?
Yeah, you actually did.
I remember
Yeah.
that, yeah, because I
Yeah.
remember you're wearing your retro. Doing like, hey man, I like your Jordans. Those are the threes, right? Or the, I think yeah, I think I
Yeah,
did. I
threes
think
or
it was
fours, one of those.
it was your
Yeah.
Jordans,
Okay.
and you were like, oh yeah, we just started chopping it up, and then I invited you to the workshop. So
Yeah.
like
Okay.
that.
So yeah, that's a real example. Because let
Hey,
me let me ask you, Brian. Before Chris said that, how many times in a day did someone compliment you? Just like that.
And a day, that's rare.
Rare. Exactly.
Yeah.
People, not just you, but all of us, any person out there, it's rare to just get complimented on a day-to-day basis.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's why sometimes people will be like, oh, like they'll be surprised. They'll think it's weird because they don't get it often. But a lot of the time, even if they do think it's weird, they like it.
Yeah,
People like
because
getting
it make them feel
complimented.
good.
Yeah.
bro.
And I guess them, to want to talk to you a little bit more, right? And like I said, people do not get complimented on a day-to-day basis. So when someone does do that, you know that they're a good guy. At least they're
Yeah.
wanting to do something out there. So that's probably some of the best icebreakers you can use. It's the one I use as well. It's definitely a compliment because that's what people like. You want people to like you, right? And want them to just get closer to you. So you can see a few examples right here, like, hey, I like that. Or like I said, it doesn't have to be a compliment. You can ask for directions. This was the one that my sponsor used
Oh
on me.
yeah, the
I remember
library.
I was walking. It was in my first semester of college. I was walking to the bus stop because I didn't have a car back then. I took the bus and the BART back home, and I
Yeah.
was walking home because I finished my last class. And then Leo, my sponsor, he asked me, hey, do you know where the library's at? And I was like, I didn't think too much about it. I was like, okay, yeah, library's right there. We're actually pretty close to it. I was like, oh, library's right there. Then he just kept talking a little bit more,
And tell
right?
them why
And
you stopped
sure,
talking to him because he was wearing
so
what?
there, so like I said, I was an introvert back then. I was
Yeah.
an introvert. I didn't like talking to people. But the reason I wanted to talk to him, I decided to keep talking to him that day was because he was wearing a blazer.
Yeah.
That's the only reason why. Because he was wearing a blazer. I'm like, hey,
Yeah.
you know. Because think about it. The reason I wanted to go to SJSU was to make connections, right?
Yeah.
But I was an introvert. It wasn't every day that I got to meet people. So this guy's talking to me. He looks sharp. Why not talk to him? Right? Oh, he's got a
Yeah.
business opportunity too. There you go. See, worked out well for me,
Mm,
right? But like I said, whatever, just to get the conversation started. You
mm-hmm.
can see some other examples right here. People sitting down and eating. Hey, where'd you get that at, my man? Looks real good. Is that around here or like at the store, things like that? Like you don't have to think too much about it because, like I said, whatever just gets the conversation started and going, right? And that's an important part too, and going.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the times I'll be like, "Hey, my man, I like your shoes." They'll be like, "Thanks." Just walk away. I'm
Yeah.
like, shoot, right? I missed my chance. So you gotta follow it up with something like, "Hey, I like your shoes. Where'd you get them at?"
Where'd you get them at? Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Or like, "Hey, where's this building located? I'm new here. I'm just
Yeah.
trying to get to know the place a little bit more."
Mm-hmm.
You
You want to
study.
ask these open, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. What do you, yeah, things like that. Your goal is to ask these open-ended questions to keep the conversation going.
Mm.
Like, like it, like if I ask Zenith, if I, hey Zenith, do you like my haircut?
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Okay. He basically only has two options, yes or no. That's it.
Yeah.
But it's a different when I ask Zenith, hey Zenith, what hairstyle do you think I should get?
I think you should get a
Now
buzz.
that's a buzz cut. There you go. See, but that's an open-ended question because now his answer isn't restricted to just yes or no. It's any hairstyle that you can
Mm-hmm.
imagine, right? So that's something you want to keep in mind is asking these open-ended questions to keep the conversation going. Because a lot of the time you just want to see if someone's looking or not looking, if someone's willing to talk to you or not. Like I said, a lot of people are not willing to talk to you, and that's
Yeah.
just because of the way people are, right? But there's a lot of people who are willing to talk to you as well. But like I said, we don't have to spend too much time on this step because it's pretty simple, easy to understand. You just want to get someone talking to you. And then when they are talking to you, now you want to start getting into deepening the conversation. Like I said, your goal for this step is to just ask these questions to to find the need in someone, to just get to know a little bit more about them and what they're looking for. And I gave you a few examples. You can see them right here. Just questions to keep the conversation going. Hey, my man, what's your major? What do you study here? What year are you? Do you come here often? Or where are you from? Are you from the area? Or what do you do for work? Right? How long have you been doing it? Just asking, these questions, getting to know someone, right? Um, and you can see a lot of examples here. Like, is it expensive for the tuition here? I use that one when I went to Merced. Hey, man, I'm not from here. I'm from the Bay. I don't know too much about the Merced. Or
Yeah.
is like how is it finding an internship or how's the parking here? Oh, I love using that one. You're in San Jose, right? How's the parking here? Because everyone knows the parking sucks,
Yeah.
so everyone can relate. I use that one. Actually, the first week of school, it was like, yeah, it took me an hour to find parking. I'm like,
Wow.
yeah, it took me like almost 2 hours to find parking. I was
Not
coming from Fremont.
exaggeration
Where were
either.
you? Yeah, and I'll be like, I'm coming from Fremont. Where are you coming from? Oh, I'm coming from actually here in San Jose. Oh, you're from San Jose. So how long have you been living here? You see, and just keeps the conversation
Yeah.
going, right? And yeah, you can see all of these different questions you want to ask. Like I said, just want to be friendly with someone, want to get to know them on a deeper level, get some information about them, just want to get to know them. But your goal is obviously to want to transition to that next step. Like I said, find the need in someone. Like I told you about Pancho earlier. You can ask someone, "What is your plan?" Right? Like if I ask Zenas or if I ask Francisco, "Oh, you're studying engineering. What's your plan with that? What
Mm.
do you see yourself doing when it comes to that?"
Yeah.
Or or like if Zenas is working, hey Zenas, you work there, or how do you like it? Is it good? Or how do you plan? How do you see that's gonna align with your goals? Now this is where you can start to get find a need in someone. Because if I ask Zenith, so what's your plan with that major? You can probably be like, oh, I'm not sure right now. I haven't really thought about it too
Yeah.
much,
Yeah.
right? Or
Or like, what
I
made you
ask
want to
Chris,
pick that major?
yeah, exactly. What made you want to pick that major, right? Be like, oh yeah, I picked business because I always wanted to start my own business. Then it's exactly what I want to hear. You know what I mean? Okay, but does this make sense? Deepening part.
Yeah.
Any questions here? I mean, the whole thing is questions, right?
Yeah.
But basically, you want to transition to that next step, which is
Yeah.
Masawa. Masawa. Who's saying stuff in the chat? I'm gonna head out to dinner soon. Hey, Zinus, what you eating, bro?
Fried rice tonight.
Fried rice? You can save some for me?
Nope.
Nah, come on, man.
So dinner's ready.
I'm just kidding. Save some, right? Hey, Zenith lives. Hey, the spring leadership is in Santa Clara. You know who lives in Santa Clara?
Bruh.
Zenith. You know what that means? Sleep over at
Oh,
Zenith. Food
Hey,
on
hey,
Zenith.
there it is.
nothing.
Krampus all in your room.
Zenith,
Leave a good
yeah,
tip.
right?
Hey, for the
Freaking
free
sardine in his
I'm
room.
down.
Just buying yourself a
Thank
month
you.
later. Like, I'm gonna stay in the
Thank you,
hotel
Zenith.
too.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Yeah, we're gonna get a hotel anyway, even
Yeah.
though we live close.
But
Okay. Anyways, back
the
to
guy I met earlier. I didn't send it to your chat. There we go. There we
okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, see, there's a reflection from Zenith of a guy he talked to earlier. But anyways, back to this. Now we're onto Masawa, which is probably one of the most crucial steps. Like I said, that's where you actually drop the message. That's where you put the offer on the table somehow, right? Indirectly. And you basically want to make someone aware of who or what is available. But before getting into that, like I said, you don't want to be like Chris. Oh yeah, I actually have a business opportunity. I wanted to offer it to you. No, you don't want to do that,
Don't do
right?
that.
You
Trust
want
me.
to just relate with them a bit, right? Because if I ask Zenas, hey, what do you plan on doing with that major? And he's like, oh, I'm not sure. I haven't really thought about it too much. I would relate with them first. I'd be like, yeah, I was just like you, right? Back in my first year, I also didn't know too much about what I wanted to do. That's the first thing, relating. Another thing you can do is ugly facts. This is another good one you want to keep in hand, but you're always gonna keep learning them, right? Because maybe I talked to someone that's into real estate, for example, right? Like, oh, I want to get into real estate. They do know what they want to do for their plan. Oh, I want to get into real estate. I looked into it. Something I'm really excited about. I'll hit them with an ugly fact. Okay, that's good. Yeah, I also wanted to do it in real estate until I found out how much capital I need to actually get started.
Yeah.
Do you know about that? And a lot of times, like, no, I don't know. I'm like, yeah, you actually need a lot of money to get started in real estate. Give them an ugly fact. Or if someone's like an engineer and be like, yeah, what's your plan? Oh, I wanted to get a job as soon as I graduate, get into engineering. I'll ask them, okay, are you aware of the job market nowadays? Because, finding a job isn't as easy as you make it sound. That's an
Yeah.
ugly fact right there. So I think you heard from Luke's workshop. He has a lot of these in there. Just make people aware of of the state of the world and things like that.
Yeah.
So you want to like lead into it, and then once you lead into it, that's when you want to drop the message, right? Like I said, it's either the who or the what. Let's take Zenus for example. Like I said, oh yeah, me too. I wasn't too sure about what I wanted to do with my future, but that was until I met my mentor.
Mm.
After I earned his mentorship, he was the one that helped me grow and scale my own business so I can retire myself in the near future. That's what it is. That's
Yeah.
dropping the message.
Mm-hmm.
Or that's who. Let's do what now? Let's say for real estate. Like, yeah, I wanted to get into real estate too until I found out how much capital there is to actually get started.
Mm-hmm.
But luckily, I was able to start my own business and I plan on scaling it up to the point where I can retire myself in the near future.
All right, Tona.
There's
Thought to cut you off, but I'm gonna just say I'm gonna head out right now. Dinner is ready. I'm gonna go eat dinner, and then
dinner's ready. All right, save me a plate then.
Yeah, me too.
All right, the man. Enjoy.
I get a
Peace
food.
out, Venus.
All right, send a pic, Zenus.
Oh yeah, for sure. All
All
right.
right.
See you guys later.
See you, man.
Bro.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Yeah. But anyways, yeah, that makes sense though, right? The
Yeah.
message that you want to drop, kind of want to put it on the table, right? You can see some examples here, like, oh, I decided to start my own business with the guidance of my mentor, and then it's really impressive, blah blah blah. And there's a lot of different ways. So the way I break it down is, share
Yeah.
about who you were before. Like I said, I didn't know too much about what I was doing before. What changed, which was, oh, until I met my mentor. And the most important part is where you're going. This is actually a little secret. It's not on here, but it's a little secret sauce that Quan actually gave to me. Because
Yeah.
when she was still a student at San Jose State, I would go with her. We would go networking together. And that was one of the tips that always stuck with me, is to always talk about your goal. Because
Yeah.
people like following people that are going somewhere.
Yeah. That's
People like
true.
people with direction. Because it's not every day you hear from a college student that they want to retire themselves in their 20s, in their early 30s. It's rare, right? So
Yeah.
when you do hear someone say that, it's like, wow, I want to at least learn more. I just want to, you know, understand and learn more information. But that's kind of how you want to break it down. And there's different ways to do it, right? Obviously, it's your story, right? Like your story is
Yeah.
different from my story. My story is different from Chris's story. Chris' story, different from Pancho's story.
Yep.
But basically, the main gist is that you want to make them aware of what you have. So if I told someone, hey, I actually started my own business and I plan on retiring myself within the near future, sometimes they'll ask, wow, really? What's your business? That's what I want to hear, right?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Sometimes they'll be like, oh, that's cool, bro.
Good for you.
I'm like,
Yeah.
good for you. Yeah, yeah, you get that one too,
Yeah.
right? And it's not that they're not interested. Maybe they just don't know that it's something they can do too.
Yeah.
Like I said, if they say good for you, it's like yeah, you're a hot shot, but what am I? I'm just a guy that's lost in life,
But if you
right?
offer
So
it,
that's where you want to ask them back. Yeah, you want to say, oh, what about you? Have you ever thought about starting a side hustle like that before? Or do you have any experience? Have you ever thought of a backup plan? Or you ever have a mentor in your life? Something like that. You ever had a realization like that? If they don't ask, like ideally, they're gonna ask you back, right?
Yeah.
Because they should be interested. But if they don't, then you can ask them back. You
Yeah.
ever thought of something like that? Something like that. Like I said, keep the conversation going. But now, at this point, now it's not in your control. Because, like I said, it's either yes or no. Either, yeah, I want to learn more, tell me more, or no, I'm not interested. If they're not, that's fine, right? We can still stay in touch, right? Like we can be cool, we can be friends. I might have a few products you might like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's fine. They're not looking for opportunity. But ideally, we want them to say yes. And when they say yes or ask more, that's where you can start getting into the next two steps. Like I said, the next two steps are only if they're interested. They're looking, right? That's another material I want to send out to you to have like the right mindset. Because people are
Yeah.
either looking or they're not looking. Either they're
Mhm.
okay, like some people are okay with working a 9 to 5 job. And I don't judge them, right? Sure, that's good for them. For me, maybe not so much, but if that's what they want, then that's fine.
Yeah.
But I always love it when people ask me back because now I can get into it. So now we're getting into the next step, qualifying. And like I said, this kind of goes back to the two different types of people that you're gonna meet: the green lights, the yellow lights, and the red lights. Like
Yeah.
I said, the red lights, you're better off just walking away, right?
Mhm.
Because they're just gonna, it's not even worth your time,
Yeah.
right? Maybe they're not even on here, right? So it's not even worth. But let's start off with the green lights first. Like I said, Honas, the Chris's, the Zenuses that are looking for something. Now, this fourth step, qualifying, it's actually optional.
Yeah.
They always say it's an optional step, but for me, I love it the most because that's how you get someone to take you seriously,
Mhm.
That's true.
right? Because if let's take me and Chris for example, if I were talking to Chris, I'm like, yeah, I met my mentor. This was the guy helping me grow my own business, and then Chris is like, yeah, that sounds great. Can I learn more? Can we stay in touch? Now it's my turn. Like I said, I could make it easy for him, but I don't want to, right? So I can tell him back. This is my favorite one. It's like, I talk to a lot of people about business, and they always want to learn more and meet my mentor. But how do I know you're someone who's serious? Now they got to make a case for themselves.
Yeah.
Now they know that they don't just got to take me lightly. I'm not just out here just partnering with anyone. Like some people skip the step, right? Because they do want to partner with anyone. And that goes back to what you asked earlier. What's the difference
Yeah.
between BWW and other organizations? They make it easy for them. But for me, I don't just want anybody in my business. I want the right people in my business.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to make it easy for them. Like, yeah, you can see some examples here. Like, not gonna lie, I like to connect with like-minded people. I would love to find the time to share more. Oh, this is more like the other step. But like I said, you can qualify them to make them feel like, how do I know you're serious?
Yeah.
Or do you have any experience when it comes to business? Or, something like that, to kind of make them think a little bit more. Right, like you get those for it's not necessary. Like I said, like if they are interested, like yeah, let's stay in touch. We'll talk about that more in the next step. Like yeah, we'll stay in touch. Blah blah blah. A little bit more. Um, but for me, this is what I do, just so people take me a little bit more seriously. Because at the end of the day, well, I'm just a student, just like them, right?
Yeah.
That's for green light people. But like I said, most of the time you're gonna get these yellow light people, which sure they're either interested, they're not interested. We don't really know, but we do know that they're curious enough to want to ask questions, right? So a lot of the time you hear, "What's your business?" or "Who's your mentor?" or "What do you do? How'd you meet them?" Just a lot of questions to want to learn more. And the way we do it is only take one question. You only take one question. Anything else, you have to sit down with me to get to know me a little bit more because I don't share too much to just random people that I meet. So you can either, like I said, get in contact with them to book a meeting, and that's basically the first step of the selection process where you can take them in to introduce them a little bit more.
Yeah.
Another way is do a workshop, like which you're familiar with, right? Which Chris
Yeah.
actually invited you to on the first time you came. If someone's looking for business, I'll ask them, "Oh, do you have any experience when it comes to entrepreneurship?" Like, no, not really. Okay, I actually know of a few workshops that are hosted by our entrepreneurial team. They go on, every few weeks or so. I can let you know when another one's coming up, and I can save a spot for you inside of it. There
Yeah.
you go. See? Invite someone to a workshop, right? Either at the Merced or online or whatever it is, but there's an opportunity for them.
Mm-hmm.
So there's different ways you can do it. Like I said, for your mentor, another thing I say is like, oh yeah, I'll put in a good word for you. I'll let my mentor know to see if we're looking for more people, and I'll get back to you to hear if he has any good news. Something like that. See, now they have expectations. They're looking. They're like they have the right expectation on it. So yeah, like I said, this is an optional step, but if you know how to do it right, it adds a lot more posture to you. But now I kind of want to get into, like I said, people are gonna ask you a lot of questions,
Yeah.
and you could answer all of them. It's not very smart to though,
Mm-hmm.
because at that point they're controlling the conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you see Chris nodding is because he
Uh,
experienced it, right?
that happened to
Because
me.
if someone asks you a question and you answer it and they ask you another one, you answer it and they ask you another one, you answer it, then they know that you're gonna answer any question that you ask them. So they're just gonna keep asking questions. And that's how they know that maybe they just want a reason to see that this isn't something for them or something is wrong about this or something like that. So that's why pretty much you take one question and anything else we gotta save it for another time. So basically you want to have an answer to that one question. And like I said, the most common question that you get is, what's the business? Or who's
Yeah.
your mentor? Those are probably the two most common. For me, I keep it very simple. I keep it so simple there's no way to mess it up. When somebody asks me what's my business, I
Yeah.
tell them it's e-commerce and franchising. Have you ever heard of it? A lot of the time they say no. right? A lot of times they say, no, I haven't heard about it. Or they ask, no, I haven't heard of it. Can you tell me a little bit more? Sometimes I'll explain a little bit more, just like the surface level, general gist of it. But a lot of the time, like, yeah, I'd love to explain more, but to be honest, I'm on a time crunch. I gotta get going somewhere. Or, oh, it might take a while, and I don't really have time right now. But hey, if you're serious about learning more, here's my number. We can stay in touch, and we can find a time to meet up again to talk a little bit more about it.
Yeah.
There you go. See? Because if I answered their question, oh, e-commerce and franchising, this is what we do, blah, 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 this is what we do, then they're asking, okay, what products do you have? What company do you partner with? Blah, 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 blah. A lot of questions. And I don't want them to control the conversation on me like that.
Yeah.
So I'll keep it short. Yeah, we do e-commerce and franchising. Ever heard of it? Oh, no? Okay. Then, if you're serious about learning more, here's my number. We can stay in touch and we'll find a time to meet up again. Talk a little bit more about it.
Yeah.
There you go. See? So, like I said, you only want to answer one question, but a lot of the time, let's say someone says, yes, I do know what e-commerce and franchising is. Then you might have to talk a little bit more about, how, you partner with different private companies, how the scalability of your business, just a little bit more information, right? And this is not something, you want to, like I said, say so much on. You just want to save it for the first step of the process. The first step of the process, not during the DTM. The DTM is just to introduce it to them. You save it to the first step of the process where now you don't have to talk about it, where someone like me or someone like Chris will help talk about it, right? But the step is just getting them there, right? But does that kind of make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, like I said, you don't want to answer so many questions. At that point, you're like a dog on a leash, and they're just
Yeah.
they're just controlling you the whole
Literally.
time. Yeah,
It's
but
true.
basically, just want to keep it simple, right? They always say kiss, keep it simple, stupid, or silly.
Yeah.
That's a censored version, right? But yeah, just keep it simple. That's literally my DTM. Like I literally gave you my whole DTM throughout this whole thing. But then
Yeah.
basically, like this is probably the hardest part because, like I said, some people are very skeptical. Some people
Yeah.
want to ask a lot of questions. A lot of time, like I said, um, yeah, here's my number. If you're serious about learning more, we can stay in
Yeah.
touch. And then they'll be like, no, I'm not gonna save your number. Just tell me a little bit more right now. And at that point, I'm I'm waiting to just walk away from someone.
Yeah.
I'll tell them, I'll just walk away from them right there. Because what does that show me? They don't have the right attitude that I'm looking for in a business partner.
Yeah.
If they don't want to just sit down and get to at least know me a little bit, then I can already tell they're not going to be the right business partner for
Yeah.
me. So if I'm like, okay, I'm not going to answer any more of your questions. If you want to learn more, we can sit down and talk about it. And they don't agree with that. That's fine. This is my business. I don't need you to succeed. I'll just walk away right there.
Yeah.
But that takes a lot of posture as well,
Yeah.
because a lot of the time people are trying to sell this business out to people.
Oh, yeah, like
But in
me.
reality, like Chris, yeah. But in reality, you're not the seller. You're the buyer.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're the buyer.
Because I'm the one
And
with the
people.
opportunity.
Yeah, exactly. You're the one with the connection to a successful mentor, not them,
Exactly.
right? Why should you have to tell them anything? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that comes through like a lot of confidence and knowing what you're talking about, and it takes time, right? This is just
Exactly.
kind of like introducing to you.
Yeah.
What about
I
for
mean,
someone who's just like family and you just want them to get to know and they ask, "What's your biz?" Then what would you tell them?
well, for family, it's a little
Or
different,
just
right?
friends,
Because like,
just asking, not
yeah,
someone you're trying to sponsor, but just someone who wants to know, like, "Hey, you've been doing this. Like, what is your business?"
well, someone who wants to know, well, it kind of depends on who. For that, you kind of want to work a little bit closer with us, because like I said, this whole everything I've been saying up to this point on the sheet
Not for
is for
them. Yeah.
C-list people. Yeah, straight randoms. But for those A/B lists, because they already know you, there's already that established trust. There's like a certain way you want to do it, right? And through that, you can work with me a little bit more because I've
Yeah.
kind of been helping people on our team sponsor people from their A/B list, like
Yeah.
Jordy. Jordy and
Yeah.
Arturo. There's some of the guys over there in Merced. They were friends. I actually met them on the same day.
Yeah.
Jordy was looking for Jordy was looking for opportunity. Arturo wasn't. He walked away
Yeah.
that day. But I took Jordy through the process. I sponsored him, and then he's like, okay, how can I share this to Arturo? He worked closely with me. I helped him introduce it to him. Boom, sponsored Arturo next. So, and then another candidate we have right now, his name is Christian, another friend of Jordy, AB list. He worked closely with me. Boom, helped. He's about to launch too. He's actually on a similar step as you. You'll get to. I don't know if you met him yet, but you'll get to see him this
No.
weekend. He's gonna come as well. But for that, like I said, it depends on the person, it depends on the scenario, but there is a certain way that you want to do it. But
Mm.
to be honest, you can keep it general like that as well, right? Like if they're asking what type of business you're running, yeah,
Yeah.
keep it simple, e-commerce and franchise, right? Because odds are they probably don't know too much of what that entails,
Mm.
Yeah.
right? Just keep it simple, e-commerce and franchising, and they'll probably ask a little bit more about it. And for your A/B list, you can't exactly just walk away right there, right? You can't exactly just tell them like, hey, I'll tell you next time. I'm running out of time right now.
Yeah.
So for that, like I said, you want to work really closely with us, say e-commerce and franchising. But to be honest, right now I'm still learning, the gist of it right now. But I have
Yeah.
a business partner, and he can explain it a little bit better than I can, right?
Yeah.
So before, when it comes to like DTMing people in your AB list, like I said, we want to like work closely together and set like a game plan for it,
Yeah.
because like I said, a lot of the time people move on because of trust, right? When people see like the pyramid scheme objection, like I said, it comes down to logic, it comes down to facts versus opinions. But the truth about Gen Z is not many people are logical. A lot of people are emotional. So not many people will come back and ask me, is this
Yep.
true?
That's
What does this
facts.
mean? Is this actually real? The only time they do come back and ask me is when they trust me enough
Mm-hmm.
to ask me.
Yeah.
So it's that trust that's very crucial. And
Mm-hmm.
that's something like, there's like no formula for it, right?
Just built
There's
over
no
time.
formula. Yeah, exactly. It's over time. It's over a lot of different things. So a lot of the time, people got negative. Yeah, I have something I can tell them. I have an answer to their question, but they're not willing to come back to me and ask because they don't trust me.
Yeah.
And just like that, they missed out on something.
Yeah.
So yeah, basically you want to take it slow, but and if it ever does come in the way, like exactly, I can't always be like side by side with you for you to ask me,
Yeah.
right? Like maybe you're out with your family and they ask you right there in the sudden moment, hey, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And so you gotta say something at that point,
And
right?
it's in the
So
moment.
so yeah, just keep it simple. Yeah, I do e-commerce and franchising. We partner with a few private companies, and I get access to their different products and services. And
Mm-hmm.
I work with a mentor, and we're trying to scale this up so I can retire myself the same way he did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They'll be like, "Oh yeah, that's
That's
cool," or
cool.
they'll ask, yeah, or they'll ask a little bit more. And at that point, like I said, you can tell them, yeah, I'm still just kind of learning it a little bit more and
Mm-hmm.
just trying to understand how to explain it too. But
Mm-hmm.
I have a business partner who can explain a little bit better. So if you wanted to actually know how it works, I can connect you with them.
Mm-hmm.
And there you go.
That's what I would do
See?
with tone a lot. Cause when I was new, we were, I was pretty far from it. I was in the summer, like it was summertime, and I
Yeah.
was all the way up, like up in the North Bay, like higher up north, and he's down in SJ. So that happened to me a lot. So really, like what I would say was like, oh, you know what, like I'm pretty new, like I don't know too much about it. Um, but then they're like, oh, but you have your own business, right? And then they're like, oh, like so what products do you sell? And then from there, I'm just like, oh, like it varies, from like health, wellness, and beauty. But we have like a variety of products like that, like along those lines. But if you want to learn more information, I can connect you, with my business partner, because he's a lot more experienced, and I'm still learning about it. So I let them know it's health, wellness, and beauty, so they have an idea of what products, and they can kind of just imagine
Yeah.
health, wellness, and beauty. It's like a lot of lines of products. So
Yeah.
when they say that, or like sometimes they're just like, oh, health, wellness, and beauty, like over 450 patented products, and then they're like, oh wow, and then I let them know that if they want to learn more, they can set up a time to meet with me and Tona, or if they'd like to meet Tona, we can definitely connect them, and then like, oh okay, for sure, for sure, and then it kind of just ends like that, but. I never went in too deep because, just like you, probably how you're feeling. I didn't really know a lot about the business, so I didn't know how to explain it or talk about it.
Yeah. Yeah. For example, that when was it? Almost a month ago when I went to my brother's baby shower.
Uh-huh.
a good amount of family there, you know. When I was
Yeah.
there, I was thinking like, you know, it's kind of a good opportunity to talk to them about it. But then I was like, nah, I don't know. I don't really know exactly how to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want to make lose my shots, you know.
Okay.
Exactly. Exactly. Oh my God,
That's
Brian.
good
You
that you're
don't
sharing
want to
that with us.
you don't want to know how many people messed up their A/B lists.
Yeah,
Because exactly like you said, they thought about like, hey, this is a good time, but they actually went out and did it, and they
yeah,
didn't know how to do it, so they messed it all up. Like Zenith, for example, if he was still here, we would be
Oh
clowning on him right
no.
now. But you know what he did? Oh
yeah,
my God, this guy, he like made a script and then he sent it to each of his friends on Instagram. And they
yeah,
were asking him, they're like, "Oh, did you get hacked? Are you getting scammed right now? Did you get hacked?
yeah,
Like who's in
Nah.
your account?"
yeah,
Because that's not how you do it, right? But that's how he did it. So he kind of messed up like his whole AV list. But that's good, like you said, kind of held yourself back until you kind of understand a little bit more how to talk about it,
yeah,
right? But it's not something you want to delay, right? Because obviously, like I said, you do want to take your time to learn it, but you don't want to take forever
yeah,
because that just extends the time that someone else can reach out to them. And
yeah,
just like that, your A/B list is gone. A good example for that is Chris, because I remember when he was in the process, we joined one of the weekly meetings, and one of the candidates on the stage, and he's like, "That's my roommate."
I was so mad. My roommate right now, his name is Eduardo Rodolon, and I was like, I want to like, I made a list of my AB list of who I wanted to reach out
yeah,
to share the opportunity with. But number one person on the list, Eduardo, I'm like, he was like, he's my roommate this year, and I'm like, he's a great person. Like, he loves business, he's into marketing, like, like he would love this opportunity. And so we went in a weekly meeting, but I did delay it a lot. Why? Because I was scared. I didn't know how to do it, and I wasn't working so closely
yeah,
with Tona back then. So I was like, right, how do I do it? Do I just like hit him up like, hey, bro, how you been? This and that, kind of just chop it up. And so I did that, but I just was very friendly the whole time. I never really like actually took the first step to DTM, Masawa, letting him know what's
yeah,
available or what's aware. And so we joined a weekly meeting. I'm like, wait, this board plan, I see my friend. Like, that's who I wanted to share the opportunity with. And I let Tona know. He's like, oh, someone, already reached out to him. He
Someone
ended
got
up
to him.
dropping. Yeah, he ended up dropping, but that showed me, like, hey, like, I can't just let, like, my AB list, just, like, leave them forever, because, like, someone's going to
yeah,
find them and then let's say like later in the future, like they're really really successful, something like that, and it's like that's my family member, that's my cousin,
Yeah,
that's
man.
like my friend.
Imagine, yeah.
Like why didn't I
Imagine you
reach
see
out
your
to them first?
yeah.
exactly. Imagine
True,
you see
true.
your cousin go platinum for someone else's team.
And you're like,
Yeah,
bro,
That hurts.
it hurts because it's like why didn't
true.
I
That-
reach out to them and ask them?
yeah.
That's true. Shit.
Yeah. So like I said, you don't want to take too long. Like you never know, right? It could happen, but you just don't want to wait until it does. It did happen to Chris. So
Yeah, I
Yeah,
saw it. I
that's
was
kind of
like heartbroken. I'm like, he was my number one AB list. Like, nah, like I was so
yeah. He was
like,
literally
nah.
number one on the list, and he was gone just like that. And it makes you think, like, if he was in our process, would things turn out different? Would he still be here? Would he have dropped the same way? We don't know.
We
Right?
don't know.
It's a
Yeah.
bunch of ifs, but something to think about, right? But that's just basically, just a lesson of urgency. Don't take too long on it because they're up for
I
grabs,
took
right?
yeah, I
They
took
they
too
might be
long.
they might be your AB list, but they're
yeah.
somebody else's C list,
C list
That's
and it's
true.
fair
exactly.
game. It's fair game.
So,
Yeah, it's crazy, right? It's something. It never happened to me. It never happened, but it still happens every now and then. Like I remember some, like in our group chats, they'll be like, "Oh, this guy's in my process," and someone else will be like, "Hey, I knew them. We went to high school together." I'm
uh,
like, "Oh, got him took. There you go." Took too
uh,
long. So yeah, it does happen. It's just just a lesson that you want to be aware of. But like I said, back to this. Yeah, just have that one answer to the question ready. Keep it pretty general and basic, and anything else they gotta sit down with you to learn a little bit more. But then
Mm-hmm.
now you get into the last step, which is basically just staying in touch. Which is like, hey, here's my number. Let's stay in touch. Or what's the best way of communicating? Text message, Instagram, whatever it is. Or I'll send you a text. Uh, or I'll give you a call later. Anything like that. Call is more professional, right?
Yeah.
yeah,
But definitely text. Whatever works best, and you stay in touch with them. And then basically, once you have that, is where we can follow up and DTM them,
Something that I
right?
learned here too. Sorry, Tony, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Ah,
But
go ahead. Yeah.
I know me and Brian have girlfriends. So when it comes to DTMing, me personally, I choose only to, talk to guys just because, like, it's going to look bad, if I talk to a girl. Obviously, my girlfriend doesn't come
Yeah.
here, but still, like, I don't do it. But, like, I've talked to groups before when it comes to, like, maybe like two guys and a girl. So,
Yeah.
when doing so, like, and I ask, for like a contact or something like that, or if it's like a workshop, obviously I let my girlfriend know, but this is how I word it. I'm like, oh, I'm like, oh, do you have like any way we can stay in contact? Like, I can give you my professional business contact. So I make sure to say it like that, so they're not like they don't think anything's weird. Because
Yeah.
nowadays you can ask someone, hey, can I get your contact? They're gonna think it's like for a weird reason. So it's
Yeah.
like that's why I say, oh, I can give you my professional business contact. So I give them my business Instagram and not even my personal one. Or
Yeah.
like I give them like I'm like, oh, I have a professional Instagram, or I have just like my business contact. Like, which one would you like my phone number, obviously, something like that. But I make sure to say that just so they don't get like any weird ideas, because like I
Yeah.
know like we have girlfriends, so they're gonna overthink about that. Because it happened to me a lot where I would go out networking, I would talk to girls, and my girlfriend like, hey, like, why did you add these three girls on Instagram? And I'm like, oh, I actually invited them to the workshop that I'm gonna be having this week coming up. But I would let my girlfriend know. So it's also kind of like communicating back and forth with her, letting her know like
Yeah.
what you're doing right after it happened. Because one time I waited on it and I forgot. And like I remember I was retailing my bundles on campus, and I sold some to some girls, and they wanted to follow me because they're like, oh, like I want to support you if you ever have more stuff. I forgot to let my girlfriend know. She's like, oh, who are these two girls? They followed you, da 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 da. And I'm like,
Yeah.
like, I sold a bundle, like I forgot to tell you, da da da. And then I have to like, explain myself, and then I'm like, so it's just like, just be cautious with who you talk to, and just yeah,
Yeah,
but
that's true. I appreciate
yeah,
that.
Yeah, I mean, it happens every now and then, right? I remember Jordy told me a funny story when he tried networking with a girl, and he just broke the ice, and she's like, "Oh, I have a boyfriend." I'm like, "What?" Right? Because, like I said, it's just how society is, right? When the two
Yeah.
people of the opposite gender are talking, people are gonna think that they think like that's your intention, right? When
Yeah.
obviously it's not. Obviously, you're just trying to share either product or the business. You can only control on your end, right? You
yeah,
can't control how they feel or their intention. You can only control on your end. So you don't gotta think too much about it. But that's something to keep in mind. That's why I mostly focus on the guys a little bit more. But like I said, with girls as well, just control it on your end. Like,
yeah,
no, yeah, I wasn't asking you if you had a boyfriend. I was asking where the library was. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Something like that, right? But yeah, just something fun to keep in mind. But yeah, basically you want to stay in touch, and once you're in touch with somebody, that's where you go back to us, and we can help you either book the next meeting or even DTM because you don't
Yeah.
have to be so robotic with it. Like I said, for my example, like all I heard from my sponsor was business opportunity. He didn't
Yeah.
go through these 5 steps. All I heard
nah,
was business opportunity. For some people, you don't need this step, you don't need that step, or it doesn't matter. You don't have to be so robotic. Sometimes they don't even drop the message, right? They just stay friendly. They don't talk about business at all. They just stay friendly. They get the contact, and then later they
Yeah.
drop the message over text, or later they invite them to a workshop. So like I said, there's different ways to do it. You don't want to be so robotic, but this is just the framework of it,
Yeah.
right?
We just have
So
kind of engraved already just in case. Yeah.
yeah, exactly, right. It's just like the basics of it that you want
Yeah.
to have. And then this last little tab right here gives you some space to make one for yourself, right? Like I said, there's a few examples on there that you can take, a few go-tos that we use. Like I said, compliments, a few go-to questions we ask for deepening. But the Masawa is definitely the most important one because, like I said, your story is different from ours. Your story is different from Chris's, right? So that's the one you kind of want to have down. You want to have it down as soon as possible. You want to have it approved by, let's say, us or Juan or Luke. So when it's approved that it's good, you can start to memorize it, right? Because you want it to come out in a way. Like, yeah, I met my mentor. He was the one that helped me start and grow my business so I can retire myself in the future. But some people say like, oh yeah, yeah, I actually met my mentor,
Yeah.
and he and my mentor he was and he's helped me start my own bit like you get it's like the way you say it too,
Yeah.
like they'll see the confidence and then they'll see like how confident you are, like I started, like you say quiet, I started my whole business, like you're not confident saying it. So
Yeah.
you want it to come out like butter, right? But obviously that comes through repetition and practicing, repeating it, going out and failing. So that's probably one of the most important ones that you want to have down written. But that's pretty much the gist of it, right? You got any questions after going through all of this?
I not right now, but once I start going through it, for sure.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. So like I said, you
Right
always
now,
want to
like
refer back to this.
reading
I
it
did share
after
it with
one. Yeah, I had to go through
yeah,
all that right now.
yeah, you can check if you have it. I think I did send it to you.
Yeah, I got it. Well,
We will go back to it. But like I said, the best part is going out there and uh, trying it for yourself. And like I said, it's not something you have to do alone. Because I know you see Chris and the other Chris, Jordy. Those guys go pretty often. They go
yeah,
networking, and you can tag along with them, so you can see how they do it. You can see what kind of questions they get, or things like that. So you can kind of learn from other people's experience. Because like I said, there's a lot of scenarios that could happen that aren't on that sheet.
yeah,
You not trust me. You'll meet some real crazy
Yeah.
people, right? Some real
The most
unexpected things will go
random
down.
conversations you'll ever have, and you walk away thinking like, what did I even talk
Like,
about?
what was that?
yeah,
Yeah.
Like
Like you can
the
even ask
AI
Pancho, or
generated.
like he even like talked to like this like tweaker for like this like a straight hour one time. It was crazy. But you can ask him about that maybe like on the chat or
if
Those
something.
you
are the
don't
best
have the most to
combos.
say.
Yeah. No, no. Me and Pancho, we were at East Bay, Cal State. We were at Cal State East Bay,
Yeah,
and this guy, he started a conversation with this random guy, and
Nah,
I don't
Tona
want to
broke
say
the
he
ice. Tona broke the ice.
I don't want to say he was a tweaker, right? But then we sat
yeah,
down, we were talking to him, and just he kept twitching. He just kept going like, he just kept
He was
moving
taking
around.
notes. It was the knowledge, bro. It was
Yeah,
too
he
much
was
knowledge.
interested. He was interested though. Yeah, he didn't move on. Obviously,
He
he
didn't text
didn't.
back. I was like, what the
He
hell?
didn't take back. But
I
like I said,
qualified.
random scenarios that you'll go through, right? And that's part of the fun of it too. You know
yeah,
what I mean? Like I saw Zenith. He just shared one on the chat of some guy he met today. So, and we'll share them along with each other, right? Because I go
yeah,
through some crazy things in a day too. I'm sure you guys will love to hear that. So does Chris, and we want to hear from you too.
yeah,
So yeah, after today, like I said, you want to spend some time to think for your one for yourself, and then run through it a few times, kind of show us, come back to us, and then like I said, most definitely going out and trying, right? Going with the
Mm-hmm.
guys. Every time you come to San Jose, you can go out with me as well, and we can kind of get on the same page about it. One more thing I wanted to share is this right here. It's the AB list, like I mentioned before.
Mm.
There's a lot of things on here like contact, age range, like all this stuff is not that urgent to add. Obviously, I'm sure you have their contact or like the age range. It's not so important, but basically, like you just want to have a list of people that you know that you could potentially share the business or the products with them. And I'm
yeah,
not saying start reaching out to them, right? But just you want to have a list in mind, so you can start, having an idea of what to work off of. Because from this AB list is how people start to grow in this business really fast. Like I don't know if you heard about Kwan's story, our coach Kwan. Just from her AB list, like right as she launched, she sponsored a
yeah,
team of 10. Team of 10, which is what I'm at right now. In her
yeah.
first like month, she went team of 10 just from her AB
Crazy.
list,
Damn.
which is crazy, right? Because some of those people aren't here today. Some of them quit. Some of them are still here. Some of them quit. But through some of them, she met someone else that is still here today. Or she
Correct.
met someone else that did quit, but they knew someone else that's still here today.
Correct.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? So it may not be the person you thought was gonna be the one, but maybe they knew someone or they
Yep.
introduced you to someone. So
Yep.
it's funny how it works, right?
yeah,
It is different. But I'll share that one with you too. Like I said, you don't gotta add all the information on it, but you do
yeah,
want to have just names of people just to go off of.
Yeah.
Um, but this is something, like I said, you can have some time to work on. We'll follow up back on like the progress of it, maybe like after the event or things like that. But most importantly, I do want to send you some more materials as well that are more relevant to what we talked about today. Because, like I said, I could explain it, but there's some people who've succeeded in this business that can
Yeah.
definitely explain it a little bit better than I can.
Mm.
Um, but other than that, any questions or any thoughts anyone wants to share out? Because other than that, that's
as of
pretty much
right
it.
now, probably not. But let me see.
I wanted to ask you, Tona, are you gonna send him the DTMing by Charlie Durso?
Yeah, there's a few other ones like
Because there's this
five
one that you
Five
levels,
sent.
levels.
Because there was this one that you sent
five.
me one time. I remember I was on vacation when you sent it to me, and man, that one was like it was great. I think it might have been the 5 levels, but it was like a guy and a girl talking about like DTMing.
Five levels.
Okay, yeah.
Tony and
So Chris,
Francis.
Yeah,
you,
yeah, that one.
what was that one called?
I forgot, but it was like
Yeah.
it was inviting,
Contacting and inviting.
contacting that one,
Contacting and
that
inviting.
one, in contact.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you can send them out 5 levels of conversation. Send him looking or not looking by Sugi Ajmani. Sugi
Ooh,
Ajmani, he's like a double diamond in
yo,
the
I was
business.
listening to one of his audios
You're gonna
today.
see him. You're gonna see him on the stage.
Oh,
True.
Yes.
I always tell Zenas all the time. I think that guy's the goat of anime. I think he's
Yeah.
literally just probably the like he's like he's got like a bunch of degrees. He lives financially free, like the father of like 3 kids, and like the way he taught. It's just like I
Yeah.
always tell Zenas like this guy's the goat of anime, bro. Like this guy's doing it right, bro. Yeah,
that
but
dude is my dad.
he's my rich dad. Yeah, but yeah, I know you said you're not going to be able to come on Thursday, right? On the
Oh,
Thursday event.
oh no.
Oh no, okay, yeah, because that's
What
gonna be
what
another.
Thursday event though?
It's
The
gonna be the one before the spring leadership. It's gonna be an added it's a second look meeting by Ali Gashan, which is the mentor of Phil. It
yeah.
was Phil's mentor back when he started, and then he was the guy being mentored by Sugi, which is the guy I was talking about right now. So he's
Yeah.
another, cool character. He's a refugee from Somalia, came with like $0 in his pocket,
Yeah.
and still succeeded. It's just a cool experience. I wanted you to see. But I know you mentioned before that you weren't able to come on Thursday. But if you are, like I said, we're gonna be there. It's a crazy event. It's like the pregame to the
Yeah.
big spring
Spring
leadership
leadership.
conference. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that one's good too. But like I know Thursday's tough. I know some of the other guys in Merced aren't able to come, but if you are, so if you are able to
Yeah.
come, we definitely love to have you there. Um,
It's gonna be
but
Ali.
other than
I remember he saw him on Zoom. Remember we saw him.
Ali.
Yeah.
oh
We saw his Zoom
oh,
and
you did see
he
him
actually
on
liked it a
Zoom.
lot. Like the
Okay,
way Ali was speaking, like
Ali.
yeah,
Brian saw how he was talking.
yeah. Okay, so you do know Ali, right?
Nah,
He's
he's
like
not the
super
one.
spiritual. Yeah,
He
super
talked to Brian. I
spiritual.
remember. He's like they were
Yeah.
having like
Oh
they were talking.
really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, really?
To be
That's
honest.
fire. Yeah, no, he's tough, man. He's tough. Yeah. I mean, I got to talk to him. Like, oh, I have so many stories about him. But anyways, yeah. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it for today. Like I said, Chris, you can send out those next materials,
Mm-hmm.
and then I think we'll have another meeting. Well, we do have our weekly meeting tomorrow, but we do want to have a little group gathering for just our team to talk
Yeah.
about like what to expect for spring leadership. Some
Yeah.
things to bring, what to
Like the
expect, some things
etiquette
to
and stuff.
prepare. Yeah, we'll probably do that on like Wednesday. So just let us know when you're free on Wednesday. We're gonna gather the whole team. A little
Yeah.
quick meeting. Probably shouldn't be too long,
We
right?
could
Just a
probably all
little
meet up
quick,
in
like
person and just hop on a Zoom or something.
yeah. If you
Or
guys
yeah,
can,
if we can.
I'll
If
be on
not, we
Zoom.
can just meet on Zoom.
Yeah, it'll be quick. Just
Yeah.
something, so everyone's on the same page about things. Um, and then we're actually preparing the food as well. We're gonna go. We're like making the food plan, right, for like three
Yeah.
days food plan. And like I said, I think well we want to do similar like last time, which is what keep it cheap, right? I'm sure you don't want to because like I said, you're gonna only be paying for not the ticket. Ticket's free for you, but what
Yeah.
just gas, hotel, food. But the gas, like it's here in San Jose. I don't think there's
Yeah.
gonna be much gas expense. Just
Mm-hmm.
hotel and then food. But like I said, we plan to keep it cheap. So if you have any allergies that we should know of, you can let us know,
Yeah.
or any suggest like we're taking suggestions, right? Like I said, I don't want to be eating chicken and rice,
And we
but
eat
let's get
chicken
Dude,
some
and rice
Yeah.
Tona
again.
is cooking.
Korean
Yeah.
barbecue.
You're gonna see Jordy grab the whole chicken like this and just.
He
Nah,
would. He
bro.
would.
No, yeah, I'm gonna have to see for sure because I don't know on that part since I'm gonna go in my own car in different timing. I might end up doing my own thing because I know
Uh-huh.
my girlfriend's gonna be out there too around there. She's gonna be
Oh, okay.
for the weekend for her organizations with another organization in Stanford with Stanford University.
Oh, really?
That's only
Okay.
like 15, 20 minutes, and I know she's gonna stay the night too, the same weekend.
Uh-huh.
So we're probably gonna do our own thing. So for
Mm.
that, yeah, but I still want to be updated, on everything.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, because the
Or
thing
see,
about
or just know what you guys are gonna do, because just in case things change with me, then I could just, slip up.
right, right, yeah. There is an agenda that's posted already. Chris, I think you can
Yeah,
send it to Brian's group chat,
Yeah.
and it's pretty much like it shows the agenda of what the weekend's gonna look like. And for this type of weekend, I mean, you're paying to be out there, right? To like do the thing. So you obviously want to make it worth it. So for the thing about the sessions is, I mean, they're pretty much all day. Like I said, Fast Zone is like 1/3 of what this weekend's gonna be like. It's gonna
yeah,
be packed. It's gonna be back to backs. The like get up, sleep late, get up early. Not that early,
9 hours. Yeah.
things like that. But we're used to it, right? But like since it's your first time, it's probably gonna be something new to you. But it's an experience for sure. We
yeah,
definitely want you to be there with the team. But yeah, we'll just stay on the same page about things. But other than that, that's pretty much it for today. Yeah,
yeah. No, for sure.
cool. Yeah.
I appreciate you guys' time.
Yes,
Oh,
sir.
same. It was cool connecting again.
Yes, sir. See you guys. Yeah, it's already this weekend, to be honest, huh?
I know, right?
Yeah, it's
How
coming
Quick.
up.
time
Right
Weekend
around the
time
huh?
corner.
quick.
Man, I still haven't done my
Okay.
laundry. I
Shit.
still haven't. Oh my God, I got so much stuff to
I
do,
had to get a
man.
haircut.
Oh man,
Oh
I gotta
man,
get one too.
I don't even have
All
time to
y'all,
get a
bro.
haircut,
All of
man.
y'all.
I don't even have time, bro.
Especially Tona, bro.
I'll have to get the Edgar
Nope.
again.
I
You
have
had to get the head
That's true.
clean up, boys.
Yeah, nah. I'm
Uh,
with downtown Merced though. I already got a spot. I got a
I
barber.
don't got a spot. Hey Chris, you got me?
right.
Give me with
How
the
much they
0
charge you
one.
in Merced? Like $10?
30. 30. I wish it was 10. I wish it was 10.
It feels like it should be 10.
Uh,
Brian, do you get your cuts here or do you get them in LA?
nah, I had to get him over here.
Yeah,
Where do you
That's
that's
go?
hella
fine,
far
bro.
to travel for
I
a
still have my
haircut.
barber in LA. Whenever I go over there, I try to get it for sure.
Every week.
I try to go every week, yeah.
Dang.
And I go right there right now to some, I think it's in downtown too.
Okay.
Called
I,
Cut and Shave or some shit like that.
wait, the Cut and Shave Co?
Yeah, it's
That's where
yeah.
I go. Hey.
With Carlos.
Oh, it's approved.
Yeah, Carlos.
Carlos, okay. I think he come out
Carlos.
here the first time, but the second time I had some
Carlos
other
and
guy named
Chris.
Edwin.
You gotta ask for Carlos.
Nah, I don't know.
Carlos, your guy.
Nah, because
Yeah,
Edwin, he come out here, bruh. Bro left me chopped, bro. I was like, what is this? I just said I
Yeah.
liked it, but I was capping.
Nah.
Yeah.
Because I don't know what happens if
I
you say I
don't
don't
know
like
no
it. Do you
Edwin,
just not
so.
pay for it or what?
Huh?
Like, if you say you don't like your haircut after you get it, do you just not pay for it or what?
Nah,
Nah, you gotta pay her,
It's
bro.
like you gotta pay for it though, right? It's like,
Yeah.
so
Nah,
I
you're
just say I
true.
liked it because I don't want to make him feel bad.
Nah, for Chris, I mean, no, Carlos, he's solid.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Not the best, but
Gets the
Gets
job
it
He
is
done.
gets
what
the
it is.
job
I'm
done.
out here. I'm out here, so I don't really
Yeah.
have much
We're out here in
options.
the
I
wasteland,
haven't found nobody.
what Tona
You know?
says.
It'd be like that.
Yeah.
Nah, for real.
No, but yeah, I mean, it's been a long night. We've been on a Zoom for what, almost like 2 hours now. So yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, we can kind of just stay in contact in the chat. I already sent the agenda there, Brian. You can look at it. They're gonna fix the flyer. It says it has Saturday 2 times for some reason, but it's Saturday and then Sunday's the next day.
Bro.
So don't get confused on that. But
I didn't even notice that.
No, I noticed like the first time I'm like, what the heck? They're gonna fix it. So once I get the edited version, everything's the same. It's just literally that day. But yeah, it's gonna be this weekend, right around the corner. So yeah, just have laundry stuff packed and everything like that. Don't be like
Yep.
Tona. Do your laundry.
Finish all the homework. All
Yeah,
the homework,
the
all the
homework.
studies.
That's an important
That's
one. Yeah,
a big
you wanna.
one.
Yeah.
I remember
Don't
one
be like
time
Chris.
I didn't finish my work. I was on my computer, like in the car, like typing my essay, and oh my gosh, it was.
Wow, what the
it
hell
was
is this
so
guy doing,
uncomfortable.
bro?
It's like you don't want everybody's talking, having fun, and you're just there like doing your homework. Like it's not fun.
Yeah.
Like don't be like me.
Nah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah, try to lock in with the homework and just finish it early. So finish it beginning of the week. So trying to start.
You
with
also
everything
want to
now.
save up on the mental capacity, so make sure you come rested because
Yeah.
you use up a lot of energy. A lot of energy.
Yeah.
For
You
real.
don't sleep much.
Those
My
those
first-
68 that time.
My first
solid.
function, bro. Like I could barely sleep.
Oh, dude, Brian was already slumped last time. Right?
Ah, I
Yeah.
should have been there.
He's right
Yeah, I'm
here.
ready to go to
He's letting me
sleep.
sleep good,
Yeah,
bro.
Pancho wasn't there last time. Yeah, but Brian, we got the XS on deck. We got all the
Yeah.
energy
Yes, sir.
tablets and everything.
Got the
So
ultra
yeah, we got.
focus.
Oh, I got one pack. Literally, one packet left.
I got no excess though, so I know Tona got me on excess.
I had a bunch of cases.
I bet. Hey, you got it. Hey, Pancho got us then. It's good. Hey, Brian,
I
Pancho
bet.
got us.
Hey, Pancho
All
got
right.
us.
Hey,
Yeah,
Pancho
got
got
us.
us.
Hey,
All right.
slide me the 20, bro.
Hey, I'll slide you the pack right here.
What is that? Little pillies?
It's like what, a fourth of a pack, bro. You got it. You got that. Look.
All right, Chris is cut, bro. Everybody gets it except Chris.
Yeah, everyone
All
gets
right.
like.
Hey, see why though, right? The other Chris.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Funny
Both
guy.
Chris's. Both Chris's.
All right.
Funny
Bet,
guy,
bet.
yeah.
The whole Zenus team is cut.
Whole Zenith team except Brian. He's cool.
What? All
All
right. No, but yeah,
right.
guys. I mean,
Yeah, that's it. Let's
let's
get
just wrap
going,
up now.
guys.
But
All
yeah,
right,
Brian.
yeah.
Later.
Have a good night
All right.
then.
Have a good night,
All
Brian.
right, later, guys.
Adios.
Good night,
Adios.
too.
Peace.
All right,
Good
later,
one.
guys.
Yep. Let me stop recording.
This guy said he's gonna go with his girlfriend, bro.
Yeah, that's super
That's
tough.
not good, bro.